How you doing, Ron?
Doing well. Do you want to go ahead and send the video link?
Yeah, hang on just a minute. We'll wait a minute or two for Leanne to come in there. The link was down and I had to make a new one, so I was not able to finish setting up my camera and my video because, of course, I couldn't find the link a couple of minutes before I was trying to get it on there. So I know they've had some issues a little bit. But it looks like we're all here. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, talk.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me get rid of the wait bot here. There. How do I sound?
Good.
Excellent.
Good. All right. Well, as I was saying, we'll pop the video on here in a second, but because the link wasn't there a few minutes before, I was scrambling around trying to figure out what happened, and I just had to make a new one. But the way this system is set up, it won't. Anybody that's got the link we sent them, they'll still be able to find the show. So, just give me a minute, and we will. Say that again, Ron. Can you hear me? Anyone? Bueller?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, hang on a second. That is the wrong plug. So, if anybody's listening to this, that means you're listening to it live because I will edit this out. That said, what are we going to do here tonight, folks? We'll do a pre-show warm-up here for a second. Tell us, what are we looking to... What are we going to talk about tonight?
The Hearth and Depp trial.
And what is that? I have no clue. Gosh, what did you guys get me into?
Oh, so you want a summary of everything that has...
Yeah, we're just stalling for time, Ben.
Okay. But so far, it's basically just us three. So.
Yes, that's good. So this will be edited out. That's marvelous.
Like I'm looking and you see Al is actually my fiance, so
Right.
We're good. Unless Woody is a real person.
Woody.
Then he's like, oh my God.
Okay, I'm back.
Ron.
I'm back. Yes, sir.
I know what you were doing, but I don't want everybody else to know.
Good. I know I can trust you.
So. All right, hang on just a second. All right, oh, look at that. We have a lights.
So maybe Ron and I can discuss it a little bit while you figure out.
Sure.
Are you having technical difficulties, Ron?
No.
Okay.
No, I just had to grab my Bluetooth.
All right. So you guys discuss, and I'll be ready in about 45 seconds.
Okay. So Leanne, first thing I got to state this first. This guy, he's going places. I mean, I see him doing a lot. He has a lot of charisma, a lot of gravitas. I think his trajectory is going to be amazing.
You mean Rev?
Johnny Depp.
Well, I even saw that one coming.
I thought you were describing Rev for a second.
Oh, yeah, Rev too. Yeah, that's right.
Of course. Thanks again, Ron. You get to come on next time.
So, Leanne, tell me, give us some background about this.
Oh my God! So I'm standing in front of like the timeline. So it spanned from like 2013, actually, when there Amber Heard first alleged that she was assaulted, and over to like 2017 when they finally divorced, and now we have the defamation trial. From Depp. So at the beginning, when she divorced and when she made an op-ed where she claimed that she was being abused, she never actually name them on the hotbed, but like everyone knew she was
Absolutely.
in him. Like in the lawyer, I was listening to this today, actually, because I'm sure you know, yesterday was the final. How do you call it? The not the hearing, but the
Closing
the final
argument.
argument. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday was the final argument, and on Hearth's lawyer was claiming that she never really singled out him, like, and then she retweeted it, and no, she hasn't republished it. She just retweeted it. She didn't make any changes. Like it was like kind of, arguing for technicality when it seems, and we cannot know for sure, but it sure implies that there might have been some malice going on.
I see.
Can we turn
Now,
on the camera now, or?
Oh, you can see me? Thank you. That is not what I wanted, folks. You're supposed to let me preview it.
So, Leanne, what do you think about why does this kind of trial capture the imagination of the public in general?
I think you know.
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, let me say this. I think that why do we get attached, or why do we idolize these especially actors? First of all, most people will say they like film, they like cinema, they like going to the movies. A lot of times, you will see these actors or actors in these movies that create a profound emotional response in you. And so what we do is we associate those profound moments with these actors, and so we attach so much to them that it makes us always curious, right?
And I think I listened to you talking about that. That's how I got interested in the subject, actually. So
Really?
it was on your podcast on Podbean, right?
Say it again.
It was on you have a podcast on Podbean.
That's right, Podbean. That's right. Or you can find it Google Podcast too.
And what's the name of your podcast?
Ron, how much is that? $19.99.
$19.99. $19.99. But it's get there. What did you ask, Leanne?
What's the name?
The name is Ron Show, but it's American Chronicles Podcast Presents Ron Show. So it's a long name.
And I think the graphic, like the visual and graphic, is really good. Who did it, actually?
Somebody that a fly by night kind of deal, just a artist on the whim. No, it was you, Leanne. It was you, and you did a fantastic job. It was really great.
I forgot about that.
It was, yeah. I'm very happy
because I had to do it twice. First
yes, you
time
did. Right.
But the second is better, right? I agree. And I've used the same thing that I use on my website, and I saw someone on Reddit post the same picture. So I think it's something like from a video game or something. I think it's something new.
Right.
Like someone knew about that.
Yes, it looks like a piece of nostalgia from the 80s, just modernized or some way. I like it a lot. I love it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so why are we here now? So first, you I think you told me, have you heard of the Hearth death trial? And I was like, what's that? and then you were like, you never heard of it? Like, are you living under a rock?
You mean I did that with you? I asked you that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
You invited me to Fireside. So if you told me back then that you would,
yes,
I'm very surprised.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, should we broadcast it to the world to have?
Yes, I've already done that actually.
I think I did, but I'll try to do it again while I'm talking to you.
Sure.
There you go. Oh.
Here we go. Yay.
The problem with this is...
Hello.
Hello.
Can you all still see me?
Yeah. I can see you.
Okay.
All right, I've got a shadow to fix, so I'm gonna go off here for a second. You guys just keep talking, and we're gonna redo that a little bit. But
sure.
Hang on one second.
So Leanne, brings us to the next.
Frozen, right?
I'm sorry.
You're now you completely disappeared.
I disappeared?
Yeah. We can hear you, but we cannot see you. I cannot see.
Oh,
Oh, there.
wow. I thought I could. Okay. So, what do you think in general about this? The closing arguments. Do you think they were strong, and in whose favor?
Oh my God! You cannot ask that question. It's so obvious. Like
Right.
Camille Vasquez is like crushing the other one. I forgot her name, but the Earth's lawyer, the woman, she's so bad. Like I saw a video on YouTube. Like it's 40 minutes. I think 19 objection. Like every time she's trying to make a question, she's like leading hearsay. Like it's like
Right.
the one like law. Like she's really bad.
And that was she was doing that when Depp was on stand, right?
No, no, I think it was Heard. Yeah, Amber Heard.
Okay, so oh, you mean she's saying? Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, she was kind of doing a rebuttal, like to answer back, and it was like awful. Like you can hear like every question she couldn't like, and at some point she was like, "I'm doing my best." And she just gave up. She just dropped her things and then just like it's lost. Like they were able to prove like on so many occasions that she lied like over and over and over again, like straight up lie. Like one time they asked her like, "Oh, so you she said like, "Oh, I donated 7 million." So her settlement was 7 million when she divorced him. And she kept repeating, "Oh yes, I pledge to donate."
Yes,
but pledge and donation are quite different.
Absolutely.
And she kept saying, "Yes, I pledge." No, did you donate it? Not pledge. Donate it.
Jump in.
Yeah, I pledge.
Right.
I'm going to jump in and say that I'm going to be suffering from old people syndrome tonight because my glasses prescription is clearly not good anymore, and I have to see out the bottom of them. But anyway, so all right. Thank you for the 18-minute stall. And we'll do just kind of an official start here, and then we'll figure out what we'll do with all of that because there was good stuff in there. But I'm Revolution McInnes, I think. Am I? Wait, I'm Lord McInnes. And I'm with Ron Perry, not the guy from Journey. Okay? That's Steve Perry.
Steve Perry. And not Joe Perry either.
No. And then we are also with probably most definitely the smartest person here for sure.
She has the credentials.
Right. I mean, she's got the credentials.
Letters.
Well, yes, exactly. She's got all that stuff. She's got all the degrees. And that is Leanne. How are you, Leanne?
Good. Nice
Excellent.
To see you. It's been a while since we saw you. We texted.
It is. My head has gotten bigger. So yes, tonight we're going to be talking about.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ron.
Can you see me?
No, you froze again.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Sorry, Rev.
No, that's okay. I hear an 8-year-old walking around here.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm getting a hug.
Hello. Oh no,
Hello.
I think he.
All right. So, are you good? He's good. He came and got a couple of potato chips. Okay. So here we go. I'm Revolution McInnes. Ron and Leanne, welcome. We're going to be talking about Johnny Heard and Amber Depp, or something like that. And let's let everybody know a little bit about the background. We did just do a longer one, but we'll just do a quick little background. You said they came together in 2013 is when she first complained about Johnny.
Yeah, she was assaulted for the first time, apparently. And there was a series of alleged assaults, but every time they were able to demonstrate with pictures, like like that date she was supposedly assaulted. But the thing is, if you saw that, like he has those big, always have those big rings on his
Well,
finger.
wait a minute. Doesn't he have those big razor claws on his finger all the time?
No,
That's not him?
no.
Oh, all right. Well, but real quickly, too, I want to say this. I just want to preface this with whoever you believe did whatever they did, and whatever the official people believed ever they did, violence is not good for anybody or from any side or in any direction. And we're not condoning it or anything. We're talking about it, and we're going to have a little fun here. But it's a serious subject. Now so he doesn't have the hands though, the scissors.
No.
He did in a movie.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I just want to be clear. But did he get them like maybe after the movie? He could have been walking around the house.
Oh no. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. So I agree with you. Like we're making lighthearted comments on a very serious subject. But yeah, so he has those big rings, right? So if he were to just slap her, like with the ring, like that would leave a mark for sure.
Wait though. Did he get those rings when he was like a Roma when like water for chocolate? Did he just keep those? Those are kind of like gypsy rings. Are those pirate rings? I'm confused.
Probably pirate and gypsy. I think they're pirate gypsies.
Okay, probably a combination. All right, go ahead.
Gypsy pirates.
Yeah, so every time like you can see a picture of her the next day. Or one time she said like, "Oh, he had a bloody nose, and her nose is fine." Like, but then you see the other side where Deb has pictures. So we don't know if it's just that the side of Deb is so good at kind of being able to prove, and Amber Heard on all the occasion wasn't able to find any proof. So we don't know behind closed doors what really happened for sure, but the case that is presented is strongly in favor.
But if she's at the beach on a day that she got a bruise and there's clearly no bruise, that is not in her favor.
Yeah, and she said like she kept like hiding the bruise with makeup, and she said that the problem is because she lies so much, she likes to embellish her lie. So she went ahead and used say like, "Oh, I use this make of makeup," but then the abuse took place in between 2014 and 2016, and the makeup was released in 2017.
So yeah. Well, I mean, sorry, I didn't know what was behind me. I couldn't see so the old Estee Lauder trick didn't work in this case because she clearly got the smackdown when it was MAC that she was using, I would think. Ron, just while we're doing this, Ron, what do you think of who did you think when this thing was going to start? Was going to be there are two victims in every story for sure, but I mean, there's one's punching and the other one's running. So who punched the punching person that would make them a victim. But Ron, what did you think about this when it started? Did you think it was going to be Johnny or Amber who was the guilty party?
Well, first of all, I think that everyone knows Johnny's, or at least knows his past, that he hasn't had women come up with allegations before. You got that. You have also just the fact that he is so well liked by the world, and that you already had that bias. But we don't know much about Amber. We don't know what her possible.
I hadn't heard of her before. Well, yeah.
I'd seen her in Aquaman, but I didn't know who she was, and I had not seen Rum Diary, so I didn't even know that movie. But
as much as you drink rum, I'd have thought you had.
Right, exactly. But the thing about it is that I don't think that. I never put it past anyone. I don't ever see these people as not guilty. I mean, I don't have expectations of them being innocent. So I was just a draw. I mean, I don't know.
So you'd make a good juror. You'd be a good juror. You can be, what do they call it?
Neutral
or diabolical or something.
Yeah, but I went in with this perspective that there's always two sides to a story. But then once you go in and go case by case, all the lies, they keep adding up.
There's that one quote that's there's three sides of a story. There's one side, the other side,
Oh, that's the other guy. Sorry.
what's the what? Oh, hold on.
Come on, I could have
Wait, hold on. Well, there's three sides to a story. Okay. What first side is one one is one side, the other side, and then the third is the truth. Okay. There you go, dude. You kill me,
Good
Rev.
job.
You
Listen,
kill me.
Ron, here's the problem. This is what's going to make it hard. Is usually we talk to each other like this all the time. We're actually going easy on each other probably at this
Right.
point. But yeah, it's just going to be a lot of this give and take. But Ron, that was very good. And I know seriously, I think it is good that everybody has an open mind. But Johnny, I mean, he's a lover. He's not a fighter, right, Leanne?
Yeah, but there was a lot of recording, and every time she was kind of being at him, he was retreating, like leaving to bathroom, closing the doors, and sometimes leaving the house completely, going, and they keep repeating, "Oh, penthouse 5, penthouse 4." Like you're like, "Oh my god, those guys are fucking rich."
Yeah, I don't care if he has 19 penthouses. You still don't get to beat him up.
No, yeah, but the thing is, she wanted to paint him as the aggressor, but every time she was coming at him. And one time he was in the bathroom, and then she was punching the door, and then she kind of yelped like "ah," like as if she hurt her foot, like the door was kind of banging through, and her foot kind of slammed under the door. So he went and looked, and then she slammed the door on his face.
Oh.
Was there a video of this?
No, but she admitted it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say because
say like, "Oh, I didn't punch you. I just hit you." That's different.
right. I didn't punch you. I placed my fist firmly on your cheek.
Yeah, and that's the thing with they are lawyers. Like, so then they're in their final argument. Yeah, what happened yesterday. I'm forgetting the name again. Anyway, so he kept like using technicality, like, "Oh, but she was just a victim, and we can always be a victim." And you see him in one video where he slams the door, like in this kitchen, and she was like, "You see, that's violence." So she wasn't doing defamation. He was
right.
violent.
So was the cabinetry represented by anyone in the courtroom?
No. But have you watched that video? You see him slash the cabinet?
I did. It was, cabinets everywhere are still shaken by it.
That's
There's no doubt
for me. That's
I'll tell you what, the cabinet therapy industry has got to be just rubbing.
I mean, think about it, but seriously, not just to make light of that, but cabinets being closed very strongly suggests anger, suggests bad stuff. And I can see how some people, though, if they've experienced real trauma in their lives, they could really take that as a trigger.
Look,
it was violent, but compare that with him losing a chunk of his finger. That's a different type.
Did he get reattached?
Did they have the chunk, or were they able to put the chunk back on? Or
it was kind of a skin, so you had to have like a skin graft afterwards.
Oh my goodness!
So yeah,
so had the same guy do that did pulled Elon's Musk's scalp up over like this. So now he has all that hair.
And did you know that they dated both of them?
Elon Musk
and Hearth, yeah.
Dated Johnny Depp?
No.
Oh, that is breaking news.
Elon Musk while she was still married, I think.
Well, you know what tangled webs these people weave.
Oh man,
that's
what we want to get to.
Video of her going through her penthouse with the Franco.
Wait a minute. Is that the one owned by Larry Flint or?
No.
Ron, you didn't even get that one. All right, just talk to Woody Harrelson and keep moving. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the name of the? Okay, I got you now.
Yeah. Oh, we're not talking about the magazine. We're talking about
not the magazine. Yeah, not the magazine. Not Larry Flint's. Not Larry Flint's creation.
I didn't know what Amber Heard did. So.
Yeah, so she was inviting celebrities to her penthouse. It was like at 11 at night.
James Franco.
James Franco. Well, never mind. I don't. Just never. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one other thing, she kept changing when the assault started to take place. And at some point, she said, like, "Oh, the whole marriage was like that." And then she, like, after she claimed that was the first assault, for his birthday, she gave him a really big knife, like a hunting knife.
You told me that. So, I mean, it's kind of like it's I can't even make a joke out of it. It is just so bizarre.
But something you can make a joke of is the pooping incident.
I did. I heard some rumors.
Yeah, but the thing is, when Deb has to make the disposition about that, he couldn't say poop, of course.
You could not?
He couldn't say like, "Oh, my wife
fecal
pooped in my bed." He couldn't say that. He wasn't proper. So he had to talk about fecal deliveries.
Wait, so was there more than one fecal delivery?
Not just one, but
Okay.
and fecal delivery.
Yes, I mean, I think they could have gone with fecal matter as well. I think
That's
that was a choice.
Of the
That sounds like a
delivery.
Johnny improvisation.
Yeah.
But like he's smart.
Wait a minute though. Was this pre-delivered, meaning that it was dropped off there, or was it dropped off somewhere else and transported there?
It was transported. That's what she admits.
That to me sounds
that's
like
what I've heard. Oh yes,
Yeah, but she claimed it's a dog. But then Deb says he pick up after the dog, and they were different. And he could tell.
Of course.
Usually, when I see human-sized poop in Chicago, and it does happen occasionally, you can tell the difference between that and
It's true.
Yeah, or you're going to be thinking that would be a very big dog, but yeah, generally I think that would be the case.
But you can recognize the poop of your dog. I can, as a dog owner.
Like my own dog's personal poop? Well, I can because I put fluorescent paint in his water. That way I can see it more easily.
You have a dog? I never knew you had a dog.
I don't have a dog because I put fluorescent paint in his water. I haven't had a dog for... I've had 2 dogs in my life. I love dogs, but I don't have one right now.
But you can recognize your dog poop. That's...
I assume I can in my own backyard, but other than that, no, would not be able to individually recognize my... Right. I might be able to tell by the... if I got used to it, but no.
Mm-hmm. So anyway...
Sorry. Leanne, I just like it. I just love you so much because it's like, yeah, that one didn't land. Let's keep moving. Okay, go ahead. Just like,
don't forget anything very important because this topic is very important.
It's juicy. Not the other word we talked about before the show, Ron. Remember?
Oh, the M word.
The M word. Never use the M word. No.
Never use the M word. Yeah.
How do you say it in French, Mademoiselle?
Yes.
Oh my God, I don't know.
Oh, maybe the French don't get that.
I don't think we have the exact equivalent.
Eamon, does he know? He doesn't know?
Gil.
Gil. Good Lord. Gotta give me the freaking
before we end tonight, we want to see
Look, I'm aiming for some attention, Ron, okay? I want this aimed right at me. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone who's in the public who wants to speak, or are we just alone at the moment?
Alone again. No, there's somebody named Lee, but they're not Leanne. They have a camera after their name. There's somebody named Ron with a camera after their name. So, nope.
So who's Woody?
The little old lady from Pasadena, I think. Let's see.
There's no image.
I've heard that it might be a bot too, but I don't think so. I think it's a real person.
It might be, but hopefully. Hi, Woody.
Don't be scared. You don't have to talk if you don't want to.
That's true. Wait a minute. Oh, I gotta find another.
I thought at first we would attract people with this subject, but it turns out no.
Well, no, but first we've got the benefit of the replay, and secondly, what is it? Saturday night?
Yeah.
And
Memorial Day weekend.
I ain't got no money, but I just got
paid.
Yeah.
Well, how I wish I had someone to talk to.
Right.
In an awful way.
Awfully. All right. So what else do we have, though? Okay, so wait a minute. Did they do we not know the verdict?
Not yet. No, we're waiting for the verdict. But the thing is, she could get off on the technicality. Because
is this a civil trial or a criminal trial?
Defamation, I think, is always civil.
Yeah, okay, so it's a defamation.
There's not money attached to it. I think he's asking for $50 million or something.
Yeah. Yes.
she probably doesn't have it, so it won't really matter. I think that what he wanted is just to get in the public like what really happened. He wanted the truth.
Yeah, he wanted to clear his reputation because, first of all, if the man's not guilty, he should be able to clear his reputation. And then secondly, he wants to wear those finger things again, I think.
Mm-hmm. But on the serious note, I wanted to say, like, I think, like, just because it's so public, I think it could really have an impact in the sense that there's so many men who've been victim of violence.
Right.
And like to see someone like that who you think he's kind of a big shot kind of guy, and like him too, like it happened to him, and she actually taunted him about that, like, what, you're going to say that I was beating you up, like you look like a pussy in front of everyone, and he was like, fuck it, I'll tell everyone.
I 100% want to say that we're definitely having fun with this, but no, it does not matter who is the abuser, or the sex or the gender or however that you identify. You should not be smacking other people around and hurting them and even just all of look. There's two sides to this. I'm sure Johnny wasn't just perfect all the time.
And the truth.
Whose truth, Ron? Whose truth?
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Whose truth?
It's all right. So, all right. So, did she do? Because give me a little background. Was there any other lawsuit before? Had she claimed anything in court at any other time, or no?
Yeah. So, and maybe Ron could help me with that. But I think there was a lawsuit against her and TMZ that he failed. It was in the UK. Is that
right.
correct?
That's correct. And so what happened was, based on just that evidence that they had, it was without being able, I believe, Leanne, to argue his point or see whatever what was gathered in that evidence. The UK said, yes, the preponderance of evidence says that you hit her, that you did what she's saying. So, but if I'm correct, he created that situation. If he hadn't gone to UK, yes, against TMZ. If he wouldn't have gone to the UK, it would have saved like his role in, I think, the Pirates or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lost a lot of money afterwards because everyone was believing her.
And I mean, right. Yeah, I mean, he lost his reputation, and that that's literally brand value to somebody like that. I mean, to me, if you did do something like that where you defamed, somebody at that level, I mean, you're not just, you're hurting them personally, but, you're actually, it's like you should even get a bigger judgment against you because you're also hurting their brand. So, and I guess that is, it's hard to defame me. Nobody knows who I am.
But you're right, right.
But the only thing about it is, what there's
I know, but yeah, that's only important to the three of us.
Oh. No, it's important. But the thing is that what they've shown, though, is that he's had an addiction to opiates. I'm not judging him, but he's had an addiction to opiates, and he's not willing to admit that some of this the career problems he's having is his own fault, not just.
Oh, let's go into the psychology a little bit, Ron. Since both of you, we have a neuroscientist on my right, and then an up and coming neurotic. I mean, you're neurotic. You're going into the field as well.
Neuroticism declines with age, though. So, and I'm getting better.
Oh, excellent. So, I mean, that means I'm not going to want to. Oh, that's different. So wait a minute. So wait, you're saying that you think that Johnny Depp, the person, feels like he's blaming some things that he shouldn't be blaming her for, but these are his own problems.
Right.
As it relates to his career.
Yes, he fired, Leanne, did you see this? He fired his agent of 20 some odd years. And there's not I don't know the full story about it, but it's like he did that, and then he walked into that same agency and asked for $20 million because he had made them so much money. Kind of, it's just, it's a little strange, and it's wow. Something else is going on,
I think if I do that, it would have to be at gunpoint at the grocery store would be my best chance. I've given you guys a lot of money. I'd like some of it back.
Well, yeah, Target.
Right.
But
My worry is, what if like Amber Heard didn't like him and kind of on purpose made those allegations just to get more money and get kind of favor from the public? It was kind of in the midst of the Me Too, and I know the Me Too was more related to like work related stuff, like power abuse, but still, like there was kind of this movement where we were like, oh, we have to believe a woman at all costs all the time, but then there's a cost to when we say those things, because then it becomes like some devious women can kind of use that to their advantage.
Right. And just wanted to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, the serious portion of the program here is sponsored by Valium. Valium. Take a Valium and chill a little. Okay, so back to the show, Ron.
yeah, our spot just took our sponsor. So
well,
back
I
to the
took
show.
2 of them. I gave you guys. I had them send a case to both of you as well. So
Case.
Yeah,
Yes, I got.
have you seen the hashtag Men Too? Like, will that be a big deal?
are they trying to save them? Are those the ones in Florida that are in the Manitou? What are those?
Manatees. Yes,
Manatee.
a little bit different.
Manatee.
Manitous. Is it Men Too? Men Too?
Yeah, hashtag Men Too instead of Me Too.
That's a serious discussion though, because I'm going to be frank about it. I'm going to be revolution, obviously, but the thing is that I've discussed this with some friends. A friend who's been recently separated from their spouse, and it's a kind of a confusing time, in all seriousness, for people around issues of sex and gender and all of this understanding, and some people are going to pay the price a little bit. For the heavy-handedness, to say the least, of men for, I don't know, since the beginning of time. But it does have to have, you do have to have some equity. I mean, men do get the crap beat out of them, by their spouse, and they also deserve to be able to have justice.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, they're getting laughed at. Like if they go to the police or to any type of, like they don't have any men's, like houses where you can go beat up by your wife.
True, Ron. Don't you think that their theme song should be, "Well, my friend, the time has come," to go to the police?
Right. My friend, I don't know what song that is. I don't get it.
Is it? I don't want to mention his name. That would be, but I'm going with a theme here.
I don't know. I'm sorry, but what I was
There's work to be. Okay, who's the singer? Don't say the name.
I can't. No, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know the song.
People, write in, email us. We won't pay attention to the email.
I don't know, but the thing is that when I think about men that are battered, I think that they just don't want to hit them back. But are you saying they're really getting beaten?
Oh yeah.
They can't. I mean, I'm just thinking that they just can't. They just choose not to fight back.
In all seriousness again too, but just because I know we're having a little bit of fun with it, but Leanne, just from a psychological perspective, I am sure that there are men that are twice as big as some women and still get beat up.
Yeah, but I think maybe some kind of freeze, like they
Right.
could technically.
Culturally,
and
I mean,
it's a very bad example, but like my dog is super big, like he's my size, and then he'll get like little dog, and then he's kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if he's big and he could like eat that dog up, like his personality is just not the combative type.
Right.
Right. Well, his owner is a psychologist. I mean, he's going to be just pretty chill. I can just see that
He is very chill.
Do you really think you should be resting in that position and contemplating? What are you thinking about right now? What's your dog's name again? Wait! Don't answer. Do we have a code name for the dog?
Oh no! It's Bernie.
And you know
She
why?
Why? Because of Bernie Sanders. Yes.
Bernie
And
Sanders.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Naming Colonel Sanders. So all right. So wait a minute. We got to make this funny. I've been trying, Ron. Really, you got to help me out.
Put too much pressure on yourself. Just
I know.
you,
I am.
and it'll be funny.
But what do you think? What do you? Okay, so we don't know what state is this trial in? Do we even know? Is it in America? Where is in Germany? Where is
Virginia. Virginia.
it? Well, okay. So again, is it in America or where?
He says
America.
Virginia.
Oh, that's in America.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I thought that was in the South. Didn't we separate the two?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we kicked your ass. Actually, I think that's what happened. All right.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but
Oh,
we
and you want to make
People
it funny
say-
and put the memes. Like
People-
there's one who said, "Oh, he kept calling me names."
oh yes, and
and Deb says, "Oh, she just misheard me."
that is a good one.
But yes, the Southern character, Rev, the Southern character people often say is one of a defeat of one of it's a chronic condition inside the soul of a Southern man. But of course, I'm beyond.
Good Lord, Ronnie. Good Lord, Ronnie. Don't tell them all of our secrets. My goodness.
Yes,
I'm going to make you a pecan pie, boy, and get yourself calm down. I didn't grow up in the South. I spent like 3 weeks every summer or sometimes a little longer in the South because my grandparents lived in Tennessee. So,
I've seen right.
all of those
told me
genteel ladies fainting,
And yes, in
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right above my state.
I see plantation when I hear Tennessee.
I got to be honest with you, Ron. Us here in Tennessee, now we're not as good as them people from Indiana, of course, because they're a little further north. But you're in Georgia, I mean,
Tennessee, yeah, right. Tennessee people seem to be very proud of Tennessee, but it's like that. It's like that in a lot of states. A lot of I'm from Georgia, live in Georgia. I'm very proud of Georgia. I
love Georgia. I love Georgia a lot. I mean, there's a lot to make fun of course, but it's a beautiful place. It's they've got peaches. I really don't know anything about Georgia. I've been to Atlanta, and it was at the airport.
This country,
really.
This country is so big and
I don't know if
it's so big and vast. And I don't think it's.
It's good, but I don't know. I keep making fun and saying like Georgia, it's a flyover state.
It is not. It's not a flyover state.
Get the hell over it, state, really quickly. I think is probably what that is.
Like people going from New York and to Florida or Miami.
Right. Yeah, the people going from the only time anybody from New York goes to Georgia is when they're flying to Miami or the Keys and there's a problem and they have to land at Atlanta.
Very true. I'm told that. Yes, we have one of those airports specifically for that.
They have that special one. What is it? Is it ATX? What is it? What do they call it? Atlanta? What? Hirschfield Airport? What is it?
Oh, is it? It is. Is it? I forgot what it's called. Rod.
That's okay. I thought maybe they had changed the name.
Yeah.
Leanne, your interest in the psychological portion of this. I know you have a keen, professional look at things, but that's not what you're doing right now. I'm just talking about from like your armchair psychology perspective. My thing was, I didn't see a lot of the clips and everything. I've seen enough. I've seen a meme, so of course I've seen the truth. And so my thing, and I saw two, so for sure I know what's going on. But my thing is, I really felt like Johnny's production values were really weak. Like I thought with all the money that he has, maybe that's why he was trying to get, $20 million from those other dudes. But with all the money that he has, you would think there would have been like a trailer parked out back and he had like the makeup team and I don't know, maybe he would have dressed like a Pirates character one day. He just didn't look very suave or debonair. He really did look kind of normal. Just look like a person who is suffering some. But but psychologically, get into Johnny's head a little bit.
Oh, and one fun tidbit. At one point, she kept like looking at him, but he never looks at her because he told him like when he divorced, like this is the last time I'll look at you, and he kept that promise and never looked at her.
Wow. I mean, did he kind of go like, oh shit, like that, or
right?
Ugh.
And just on this, I'll answer your question in a minute, but on this look thing, like every time like the lawyer asks her a question, and probably her lawyer told her to do that, she will turn and then talk directly to the jury, but then the camera, like you see her kind of facing away, so it's kind of annoying. So for the public, we're looking at her and being like, oh my god.
Note to lawyers, know where the cameras are in the courtroom and what's going to happen when you give that person an instruction. They should have argued. They should have said, objection, Your Honor, the camera is in the wrong place.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah, for sure. And the other thing is, like, she's not like a very good actress. They say that in the.
Is that true?
Like she's in Aquaman. Like,
in the courtroom, she's not a good actress anyway.
Yeah. And then she said, like, oh, she's having a hard time, like, having real tears when she has to be sad for a movie. And in the show, like, she will cry, but there's never tears. Like, it's kind of, again, her making a show of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and then I'll go back to the psychology of, you want me to...
I'm just. Oh yeah. Anyway, I could actually fucking fake cry, and I'm not an actor. Anyway, keep going.
Oh, you were scaring me there. You have it, Rev, because you were scaring me a little bit. Seriously, this guy is an actor. He wasn't in various stuff.
I've done a little bit of it.
You scared me there.
Film study, right?
Huh?
You did film study.
Yeah, I went to film school, and I took some acting classes. Honestly, I got as good as I needed to be as an actor to be able to at least try out for a part with, single women in my neighborhood. Honestly, I was in my 20s, so.
Yeah. So as for, I think Ron knows a bit more about that because he's a big fan. But I think there was a lot of trauma in his early life.
Oh,
like,
so what you right when his growing up, people that didn't know, I didn't know, of course.
Where's he from?
He lived in Florida before he moved to California, but he's from Kentucky. That's what it is, Kentucky.
Ooh, that explains a little. Okay.
They lived in Florida, and then he moved to California. But anyway, he experienced, his mother was physically abusive, meaning when he would walk by her, the children would go like this, like shield themselves. That's how. But the father wasn't. The father was very composed.
Walked like this a lot.
Yeah, that's what the kids would do, and so. That in itself paints a picture of someone that doesn't, that's been abused. And so now one thing about that is that it can do one thing. It can stir inside the spirit of someone an artistic sensibility that can come out like his and be awesome. But it's also it's just destructive. And so overall, I think his go-to for any type of abuse like that is to go and just hide. And he would hide when he was little. And he would hide from Amber.
Yeah, and harm-share psychology, it's not something that I've studied or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of always advocated that we reproduce a relationship that we had at a young age. So, like, for sure, it might be why he was... he didn't, like a normal guy would just be like, she's crazy, I'm leaving her, like, as the first time. He stayed there.
And no, seriously, the guy, it's Johnny Depp. Like, at least at one point in his career, he could have walked out of his home, got into his limo, walked into his restaurant and said, who wants to? My place. The whole restaurant would leave with him.
That's wild.
So
I know. It's a dream.
Literally, everybody would leave with him. And so that he is stuck in a relationship like that, there's got to be some trauma in that. I will say this too. The celebrity marriage, if it lasts longer than 6 months, or how long did Britney Spears last? 48 hours? That's a miracle, because all of the pressure and when you're Johnny Depp and you walk down the street and literally the whole restaurant would come home with you if you invited them to, like, how do you even maneuver around through the world and communicate well with your spouse? And, oh no, honey, I'm not cheating on you. Those underwear was just, it's thrown over the fence every day. So, I got to say that's got to be really tough.
Yeah, yeah, the temptation is there for sure when you're that kind of charisma and personality.
But he, you think that he, do you think that he stayed in the relationship longer because of the trauma?
It's
His
definitely
past trauma?
something. Yeah, I believe so for sure. That's what we. That's common. Again, I don't have any studies.
Right. No, but I mean, we're doing this from just an anecdotal kind of thing because I mean, it's a terrible thing to think because again, like, and Ron, you got to make this funny, man. Bail me out.
Yeah.
No,
Told
the
you, no
thing
pressure.
there was that study in the 80s. There was a series of studies in the 80s where there were Wall Street traders and they snorted coke and they snorted heroin. I don't think they injected it. I think they snorted it, but they could quit for months at a time and have virtually no withdrawal symptoms or anything because they had enough economic status that they were never chasing it.
Right.
And not that you can't be addicted to it, but for these folks, it really wasn't a problem because they didn't have to chase it and hustle the money and get all into that. So, you mentioned that they said that he had an opioid addiction at some point. Is that
Right.
true?
That's true. And she's taken pictures of him like he was in a state of basically nodding out, which is what opiates can do if you abuse them. And so she had pictures of that, and she said that he would be like Jekyll and Hyde, basically, once he go on opiates. So the thing is that I don't know how much it affected him. I don't know, but it's just, but it's true.
And Deb's lawyer used those pictures that she showed them, and she was kind of demonstrating that she wasn't afraid of him because she was like, if you're a victim of domestic violence, would you take your husband sleeping and then send it to your friend?
That's very true.
If he was violent and found that out, there would be some repercussion.
Yeah, there would be hell to be paid. This is a subject that is something that I wonder if the American, if we could get something good out of this in the American conscience, I think it would be that people definitely need to understand that abuse can happen from any direction, from any, and because again, where I was going with that with the heroin addiction is that his socioeconomic status is, beyond belief. Hop in his jet and never come home, and yet he's staying in and getting abused. So that is a poor is I don't want to say it's a testament because we think of that as a good thing, but I guess that to just how powerful previous trauma and abuse can be and how it can affect somebody further.
Sure, absolutely. And the thing about
on a lighter note, should we move to something more lighter?
Yes, please. Hold on a second. Oh, hold on. Whew, thank God that was so serious. Okay, let's laugh.
Yeah. So there's also the whole thing with the TMZ, and the guy who uploaded the video of because she has one video of him slamming the cupboard, and her lawyer would interview the guy from TMZ, and she was accusing him of having his 50 minutes of fame and such, but then he was
that was great. That was great.
Yeah, he was but aren't you why are you Hearth's lawyer? She's lying.
Right.
He was,
could not. Yeah, he goes, couldn't I say the same about you? And she's like, oh yeah, touche. It was good. It was a good comeback. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So basically, Amber Heard wanted us to think that she filed for a restraining order, and then show up with the bruise on her face, and then TMZ take the picture right with the bruise and everything, and the next day we see her no makeup on with her friend. She has a laptop in her arm, and she's laughing, and no bruise. The next day, on one day, she's oh, sad, and has the bruise, and TMZ is alerted the second of she's filing from the restraining order. And oh, I don't know how they got the news. I didn't tip them off.
Right. Do they have phone, Ron? Do they have things called phone records, Ron? Have you heard of those?
I believe so. I don't know if you can actually.
I just want to say to criminals, look, or potential criminals, there are thousands of episodes of CSI. And in every one of those episodes, thousands of them, the killer always makes a fatal mistake. Ironic, I know. But if you watch those, you could learn and maybe get away with it. Like, you can't, like, oh my God, I have this giant bruise. A banana fell on a tree and it broke my neck and I'm suing Dole Banana. And they're like, yeah, but sir, 3 days later, you're jet skiing. You know what I mean? Like, it,
And if you're a celebrity, you got paparazzi all over you, all the time.
Yeah.
Is that with marinara? Is that a white sauce?
The white sauce.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And there's another
part.
one was super cool. I saw on Reddit where like she's showing like two pictures, and one where you don't like her face is normal, and the other one she kind of raised the saturation to show like there's kind of redness.
Oh,
and like she's like,
learned to use the little graph that on the Photoshop. That's good.
Yeah, and then but no, she just changed the saturation of the picture. Like she made the color like pop up.
Okay, I mean, next time if she wanted to make it look more real, she might. I wouldn't do it, of course, but she could have hired me. I want to say something real quick, Deborah. Thank you. We actually have someone in the audience down there.
That's
Deborah, and thank you so much for joining us, Deborah. You will be getting your check via email.
Thank you. I can't see it right now. I have the cameras up and I can't see the audience.
Yeah, so I just want to finish this story. So yeah, so you can.
Whoa, wait. Hold on. Let's. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so yeah, so there's this just a saturation difference, and she's explained that it's different color because she switched the light on, but then it doesn't work because the light, it's her, like you can see like the mark of the light on her nose, and the mark is exactly the same. But if she was to raise the light, the lightning would be different in her face.
Right.
And also all her hair are exactly the same, so there was no absolutely no movement from the one picture to the other, so she's just another straight line, and it's kind of easy to prove.
Right, and I mean, she should have probably said, she should have said something like, Alexa, turn the color temperature to red. Okay?
Which reminds
Alexa,
me,
turn the color temperature back to normal. See? I mean, that's what she didn't even have that amount. That's the thing. If you're going to get away with it, Google it first, at least.
Right. Exactly.
What else did she do, Leanne, that was so obvious that, in the courtroom or Ron, that was just ridiculously ridiculous?
The one thing is just her being so arrogant when she was being cross-examined. That's why people think that she was being way too arrogant, right, Leanne?
For sure, yeah. You don't like her. Deb is kind of funny, and you kind of want to hang out with the guy, and you feel like, oh my God, he's went through a lot, but he's doing his best. She's like, very snarty and
Now, you're French. You're in the French part of Canada, right?
Not anymore.
That's right. And even if you were, we wouldn't want to disclose your undisclosed location. But you guys didn't break away yet or anything. It's still one country.
Yeah.
Okay. So Juliette, is it Bonache? Bonache? How does she say her name?
Who's that?
You do not. Did you see Like Water for Chocolate?
No, I didn't see that one.
Juliette.
Juliette, yeah. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to talk about her a little because she's extremely attractive.
Okay, so you completely change the subject just to.
Yeah, I mean, because that's like Johnny Depp. I feel bad for the guy that and I'm not saying that being beautiful and popular and everything is what's going to stop him from getting hurt. I really do think that shows the trauma, but what when you say she was arrogant in her responding of questions and people haven't seen that, what did that, Ron, could you kind of maybe do an Amber Heard arrogant moment?
Sure. So she's on the stand like this. So she's being asked, and then the jury's over here. And so she keeps, every time she answers, she looks over and she goes, yes, that's what, mm-hmm. Yes, that's what, that guy. That's a perfect impression.
Miss Heard. Please do not, first, don't mishear me. And secondly, do not pander to me. Okay? Now, pander to me, tell you not to pander. See, Ron?
That's incorrect. I don't understand the question.
No, you're just. What are the odds? Again, we don't know enough about the legal. Because a foreign country like Virginia, we have no idea what their laws are. But if they, so we don't know how this verdict could go down. Is it just a yes or no question, or is it, can it be like, it's like partial defamation, partial bad acting, you know what I mean? Like we don't know where the verdict's going to come down. But I'm assuming, go ahead.
Yeah, it could lose on the technicality. That's the thing. Like the jury could still be like, oh yeah, she was the aggressor in most of the situations. Right. Sure, but it's just proving defamation is really hard.
Well, aside from Johnny, and there was one meme or something that I saw that the poor Johnny's kind of bodyguard driver guy, apparently had to deny that he had seen Johnny's junk when in all likelihood he probably had. And that just had to be an awkward moment between an employer and an employee, if you saw that one.
Yeah, I think I heard that. I think it was just mispronouncing the thing. And I'm not sure exactly what happened. Have you seen that, Ron?
I have not heard about that. I haven't heard about that at all, actually. No.
I've only seen like 2 memes, and one of them I know was the poor driver was like, and I don't know if he was English or something. He was like, oh, no, madam, I've not seen Johnny's junk. It might have been the driver, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Like that.
Right.
So,
I have to say, I was so impressed by Camille Vasquez, the lawyer on Deb's side. And the thing is, it's not that she's a woman, because like if it was coming from a man and like Amber Heard claiming that she's been abused, it would feel like a man.
Oh, you couldn't do it. Yeah.
So it's good that there are 2 women, but she's so like on it, and she's on the money all the time, and she's crushing the other lawyer. Like,
I got to be honest. If I'm being cross-examined, I definitely want to be Oh no, that's different. Ron, I've tried that joke 3 times. Nobody's freaking laughed. Whatever. Wait a minute. Let's breathe. How long have we been doing this? About an hour?
Yeah, if we consider we started at like 18.
Oh yeah, so let's go about 10 more minutes or so. Because 9 of them got to be good. I'm having a seriously good time, Leanne. But let's talk about this a little bit, since we don't have time. We always don't have a lot of time to talk, and it's been a long time since we've done the 3 loose screws. If you could pick the next defamation lawsuit that goes down for us to laugh about, or give us some subjects, folks, if you want to email us or stuff that you would like us to talk about. Ron and I quite typically disagree about whether, watching paint dry is funnier than we are, but I say that it is.
Some of that is, some of it dries very well, very funny.
It does, but your humor is very dry. But Leanne, what should we talk about? I think we should do this again sometime. What kind of subjects do you think would be fun?
I think moist paint would be.
Bringing it back around. Bringing it around to the beginning.
The M word. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I promise, next time we're going to use the M word in the show officially. We will put it down there in the whatever that thing is, the chocolate chip cookie.
Fortune cookie. Hey, which reminds me, how do y'all ever eat your fortune cookie? Because I eat the fortune cookie.
You're the only one. Those taste bad.
They're good. They taste like bubble gum.
I think I eat them
I
partially
eat
every
them
time,
every time.
hoping
I
that
had
they've improved the taste, but it
Well,
never
I
happened.
think it tastes great. First
Yeah,
and
you
second, I
love
can't believe
anything
I.
with sugar.
Yes, but listen, I thought that like I was surprised when I learned that people just break them open to take the thing out and they'll eat them. How could you not eat them? That's what they're there for. I'm just very shocked. That's just something
But
Well, they're
very
very
passionate.
American. They were invented, I think, in San Francisco. I don't think I think something like that. Probably
Okay.
somebody from China, but
They're
I
good.
think
Okay, good.
actually I usually just throw them out.
yeah. I mean, I don't
Well,
even.
save them up for me.
Honestly, unless for sure I know that there is some high tech quantum computer that's going to have the actual lotto numbers for next week. I don't usually even open them
Oh,
up.
and is it possible that we have someone who wants to speak?
Oh, it's possible. Hold on a second. Yes, she does.
Yay!
It's possible, but you're not sure if you're going to let me, right? No.
No, I just can't see. I just can't. My glasses,
the microphone. I
the
wasn't
prescription, the good part's down here, and also I have to look like that, like I'm
Well,
90.
for some reason, I can't talk in the chat, the responses to you guys. For some reason, I tried on my phone and my computer. It wasn't letting me respond to you. But I was going to say, I love my fortune cookies. And I eat my husband's fortune cookies too.
Right?
So not just
Love
mine,
cookies.
the family.
So this is a pro fortune cookie group.
Yeah.
Oh, totally,
Absolutely.
man. Absolutely.
Yes.
Ron,
Thank you
I
very
think-
much for your support.
Yeah, Deborah, please stay. Maybe it'll get better that way. But listen, Ron,
Oh.
you mentioned that the fortune cookies taste like bubble gum. I think
They do.
you've got something there. I
I'm
think
telling
that you know how they have those Jelly Belly things. I would be much more interested in a fortune cookie if it might taste like poop. Just randomly like those jelly beans. At least it'd be fun.
Oh, man. But I've had some really nasty jelly beans for that way. I just I have some nasty jelly beans. Oi, you just brought memories back, man. And not the best of ones. But anyway, I digress. I do love the jelly beans. I get it. That is kind of cool, right? You don't know what you're going to get. It could be really interesting or gross, depending on the moment. But they can be really interesting. The mystery behind it.
I'm telling you, when I was a kid, the worst thing that could happen if you ate a jelly bean was you might get one of the licorice ones, and eventually I liked those. And then two, your mom's going to be really pissed because you had too many and you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. But I never spit them out.
And licorice. How does anybody like licorice? How is that possible? It's like it's so bland,
Wait, the chocolate licorice
You-
is good. Chocolate licorice, man. Come on.
Oh,
I mean, like
say it again.
blackstrap, like the hardcore licorice. You don't like that?
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't had the hardcore licorice. Maybe I'd like that. I just had Twizzlers,
There's
Oh no!
chocolate
Clearly, sir, you are a Russian spy because no one in the
I've been
South
called a
does
communist
not
many
eat
times.
Licorice.
Right. I'm a commie, yeah. I've been told.
You're clearly a communist, right, Deborah?
It breaks my heart
Deborah,
to say that you don't like licorice, man, because that is a true American candy, man. Come on. Now, I do like the chocolate licorice better, but
The
I will
problem
say-
with communism.
Many things Ron doesn't like. That's weirder.
I just have one question though. I thought of this question today. Listen, the guys that landed in the Andes Mountains that had to had to eat the other people
Eat
that
each
were already
other?
dead to survive. Yes.
Mhm.
Do you think if they had a plane full of Starbursts, is that enough sustenance for them to survive? Because I think that's like nothing.
I'm going
Is
with
it-
that,
is it-
yes.
Ron, you've
Okay.
got another
Maybe-
great idea. We could fill the seats up in planes with like cotton candy, and then if the
in case
and you're in the Andes, you
sustenance
get the seats.
happens only once in a lifetime. But hey, don't just
Okay, so I am really
That's
laughing
good.
at the cotton candy one. So the theme for my...
It would also, sorry. It would also help blending part, no?
Right, you wouldn't have to buy shocks for the plane because the cotton candy would keep everybody from suffering. Go ahead, Deborah.
Well, the theme for... one of the themes for my competition, for the Miss Wheelchair competition, we have to do something with candy. So I've been thinking of what wear or decorate or what have you. And I saw something that reminded me of cotton candy today, but I'm trying to go with sprees instead. But I
Sprees are
will
good.
say cotton candy came to my mind. So cotton candy is on my mind right now. But anyway.
Yes.
We have a guy in our neighborhood that sells cotton candy, to the kids after school. And I'm telling you that, like, what I've made cotton candy in one of those things at a little school fair or whatever. This cotton candy is like $5 now for 37 cents worth of spun around sugar. So, and then he's getting the kids all wound up, after school. So the parents can't be happy about him. But I'm glad that cotton candy has been on your mind. Did you say you were in a wheelchair beauty contest?
Yeah. Yes.
That's cool.
It's Miss Wheelchair USA. It's a combination of the beauty pageant, which is totally out of my comfort zone, but that's okay. And
look, everybody can't be as cute as I am. I get it.
Yeah, you've got it there. You've got it all made. I'm still working on it, trying to get that whole. Let's just say today when I'm shopping, I had my wheelchair, my service dog, my oxygen, and a whole bunch of clothing piled up on my lap while I was trying to video this all. It was really interesting.
Well,
yes, I had like a rig set up with my camera on my wheelchair. It didn't quite work, but I tried to record it all too. So after a couple of minutes, I couldn't record and move, but it was kind of funny. Anyway,
but I think that's great too. I have a good friend, Dania Denise, and she is the former Ms. Petite USA, and she really convinced me that all the kind of the judgmental things I had about pageants. Can be true, but also all of the benefits of it. So I just think it's really cool that they have a pageant for people that are in wheelchairs, and that is something that I did not know. So that is really neat.
There's 2 pageants that are designed for women with mobility challenges. One is Miss Wheelchair America, and one is Miss Wheelchair USA. And the one that I'm in with Miss Wheelchair USA, it's sponsored by the Dane Foundation that does supports families with children with developmental disabilities.
Oh, awesome.
And this is one of their events, and I never in my life would have thought I'd be in a pageant. I mean, I was growing up, I planned to be in politics. That was my dream, to be in politics. It was my dream to run for president of the United States. I never imagined myself in a pageant, but because there's so much advocacy related to this one, and 3 of my friends in the advocacy world have been in this pageant, they suggested it. And the big reason why I'm doing it is growing up, I felt less than beautiful, like way less than beautiful. And that's not what's depicted in magazine. I mean, how often do you see someone in a wheelchair, nonetheless, with braces? And
that's very true. Right. That's very true. And very underrepresented.
We are.
Yeah, and why would you be able to present at the real, like would people in wheelchair be excluded from it? Like how?
So they're not excluded, but it's not usually included. And one of the women who actually was part of Miss Wheelchair USA competition is in one of the regular able-bodied pageants, the traditional pageants. But for the most part, we're not included. And I'll be perfectly honest, most people do not consider people in wheelchairs beautiful. And we'll get comments like, "Oh, you look so beautiful in your chair today," or "Why are you dating somebody in a wheelchair?" Or "You'd be really beautiful." Like, if I get my braces right, "Oh, you look really beautiful today. We can't see the braces." They're still here.
It's very typical too. Very typical things that are said to me. It's like, God, that guy must be rich. Did you see her?
Well, it's not that we're so often we are marginalized or excluded, not necessarily intentionally. Sometimes it's unintentional. Like you just don't know what to say, so you don't want to say the wrong thing, so you don't say anything. But at least,
and we say awkward things in awkward moments because they're awkward to us, right? I mean, so so that it's like even grief. It's like just say something. Try to be polite. Don't. Let me say this to anybody who's ever going to compliment somebody in a wheelchair. Do not ever mention the word wheelchair. You'll probably be fine. You know what I mean? Just
right. I'd much rather somebody say, "Hey, you look beautiful today," rather than "You look beautiful in the chair." Right? It's like, well,
right. I mean, I guess you could
unless my chair's all blinged out. Okay, my chair's blinged out.
Well, I guess you could say like, "Wow, those are some hell of a forearms. Get me a wheelchair. Let's see if I can beat her." Have some fun with it.
Right, and I do joke around a lot with it. So I have kids ask me all the time, "What's wrong with you?" Right, and I have no problem with that. I know kids just are curious. So my answer is I'm a decommissioned cyborg because I have a whole lot of machinery.
Nice. Nice. Ron's been decommissioned, but that was for a different reason.
Well, I mean, it's great to joke about it, right? And my coping mechanism has always been humor and sarcasm. So we are a very sarcastic family, and we use sarcasm as our main coping mechanism. So when people ask me, they
Right.
kind of look at me a little strangely, but it is fun and it is great to kind of confuse people.
Well, and I think I urge everybody to click on Deborah's picture. She's a very beautiful woman, and Deborah, the inside and out, obviously. But how far are you in this pageant? Where you stand in it?
So I'm representing the state of California, and the pageant starts on July 10th. It is July 10th through the 17th, and part of it will be televised. So the final night, the intro night, we're going to have an opening like a traditional pageant, and there'll be the whole interviews, People's Choice Awards, and all that elements will be televised.
Well, I would love if you want to reach out to the representatives. You don't have to. I always put people on the spot. I don't intentionally do it, but I would love to have you and some of the folks representing the pageant or other contestants or whatever come on a Hearth episode on a Wednesday before that, if possible, and promote this thing a little bit because I'd never heard of it.
Right.
I don't know if I've got, you know what? I'd actually do my darndest to see if I could schedule that and get Dania on there because she's my resident pageant expert. And we could have a conversation about it if you want to offer it to him. I think it would be cool.
I think that'd be great. And in fact, I'm trying to get a couple of my baby podcast, my newbie podcast, trying to get a couple of people on there as well. And I think you're right. A lot of people don't know about these programs. Did we scare Ron away?
Yeah, well, no.
I
do not want to make that poor look. Eventually, Ron, I wear him down. I'm sorry,
okay. I mean, the camera turned off. I'm going, oh boy, I come and talk. The camera turns off. Did I do that? But I think it's great because the reality is I didn't know much about it. I only know about it because friends of mine have been in it, right? And I think it's wonderful to highlight women who have abilities and focusing on what we can do, right? And focusing on what we're able to do. Some people are in power chairs, some people are manual chairs, some people don't use a chair, but they use it part-time. And it's important to know that we are all different, but we're all beautiful inside and out. And who we truly are underneath the layers of the skin, the pageant element, the dresses, all that things. It's who we are that has our essence that matters. And often that's not seen. And I love the element that I get to say, hey, you know what? This is what we can do. Let's focus on this and let's see what all of us bring to the table. And so each one of us has our own platform. So my platform is creating communities with creating inclusive communities for people of all abilities and trying to really bring people with disabilities into the mainstream communities. But it's amazing to see what everybody's been doing this year. So
that is so awesome. I'm so glad that you jumped up here. Leanne, did you want to? I don't know. I invited Ron back up to speak, but I think I'm going to have to send him flowers. So, Leanne, did you want to say a couple things?
Are we wrapping up at this point?
Well, we probably should. Let's see if Ron can come back. I have an 8-year-old that needs to be in bed, so we can do one of two things. We can keep going, and I can kind of mute and tuck him in. I'll just go off camera, which is fine. I'm having fun. But before we do that, I think we should probably even if you can't stay, I think we should probably let Deborah make the decision because she's the only person, as far as we know, that has seen this possibly. Did you have fun at all, Deborah?
I had a blast. I got to say, your humor cracked me up, so I had a blast. Although I keep on going back to the Virginia statement of it being a different country because that really made me crack up. Just having gone to law school, and I know how different states react with different. I was just cracking up. That was just, that was making me really laugh.
Come on, Robert E. Lee, he was on the other side. The Virginia Compromise? No, we're not compromising with those people. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, a different country.
It is definitely different places, and it is so true.
By the way, Virginia, I know it's for lovers, and I love you, Virginia. And when I was a kid, they had these T-shirts at Sears. If anybody knows what Sears is,
and license plates with the love Commonwealth.
And it said Virginia is for lovers, and I was just old enough to think, maybe I need to go to Virginia.
Honestly, I remember that because I remember seeing the license plate saying that. And I remember thinking, huh? So that was probably one of the only license plates
remember,
that stayed in my mind.
In Virginia, it's only love between a man and a woman.
you know,
Okay.
yeah, that's a whole different
Yeah,
story.
I was being sarcastic. Okay?
No, I know, but
but I forgot when I tell a joke like that, I have to say quickly right after. But I mean sarcastic in one sentence, or they're going to use it against
Ron,
me.
are you from northeast coast, like East Coast?
I was born in the state that is below Michigan, above Kentucky, to the right of Illinois, and the left of
You make me have to look at a map now.
of Ohio, and it yeah, it is okay. Hold on a second. Don't tell anybody. Indiana. Okay, so I was born in Indiana, but I came of age in New York, so I do have a very East Coast attitude.
I'm from New York originally. I grew up born and raised New Yorker. Born and raised Long Islander. No, I'm from Long Island.
Yeah, I've been to Long Island a couple of times.
I'm from the Long Island. I'm one of the Long Island peoples. No, I'm from. That's where my humor comes from. Although my youngest son, who has never seen New York, says he's not only Russian, German, and Korean, he's New Yorkian. I'm going, New Yorkian? What is that? So apparently my children are New Yorkians as well. But I was laughing at
everybody except anybody in New York.
Well, and so I was laughing at the humor because that is part of the sarcastic humor that we have. And I think it is a East Coast or Northeast Coast response to things. So when I say something, I have to quickly I'm joking, sarcastic.
You're right. You just go, look, it's like Ron. I just said, like, he's got to do a disclaimer before he talks because he's going to embarrass himself. So it's the same way in New York. It's just like, hey, look, I'm speaking next, and I'm from, I came of age in New York, so be prepared to be offended. But you have to be quick-witted in New York because they're all quick-witted. They're like, hey, you want that cheeseburger over there? And you got to be able to no. You know what I mean? You can't hesitate.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to get the cheeseburger. Right, they're going to get it from you quickly. They do not slow down for anything in New York.
Well, and it's funny because I was talking to somebody about the wheelchair, right? And when I moved out west, so I went from New York to SUNY Albany to Tucson. Total, not only academic, but total life change going from Albany, New York to Tucson.
I would say you should have done that in steps. Maybe Ohio, and then
it was culture shock for me. Let's just put it that way. And for anybody who met me, apparently I was intimidating and scary, which is kind of funny. But anyway,
were you in the wheelchair then?
Yes, I was going.
That'll show you just how intimidating New Yorker is. Yo.
Yeah, I was like,
wheelchair here, and I'm gonna. You know what? I'm from New York. You just better run.
That's pretty much what I said. Like, if you're in my wheels in motion, stay in motion. You don't want to be the force that's the acted upon force to stop these wheels. But one of the things that I noticed in Arizona or other places, people would just ignore you, right? Because they didn't know what to say, so they just kind of walked away. In New York, I was like, it's a fair game of ignoring. It's just shoving and pushing to get to where you're going. They don't care whether it's wheelchair or walking. It's just, I am getting from point A to point B, and you're not in my way.
Go ahead, Leanne.
Yeah. So when I see people on wheelchair, I always think, like, should I help them or should I just ignore and let them do their thing? Like, I never know how to act. Like, what do you usually prefer?
And that's a great question. And people ask me that all the time. And honestly, I say ask the person, especially if you see them struggling. Say, hey, would you like assistance? Would you like me to carry something or get you something? Is there anything that I can do? And that to me, that is just pure politeness, because I would do the same thing if I saw somebody dropping something. And, when someone's behind me, I still reach back and try to hold the door open for them, because I just think that's a polite thing to do. It's not a wheelchair or walking thing. It's just a human kindness option, right? I wouldn't go and push somebody's chair without permission. If
you're going to do that, touch their hair as well. I go all in.
I mean, I've had that. I really have. And when I had the babies, when they were little, I had people pulling the sling open, trying to look at the kids. And I'm going, would you do that to anybody? Like, he could have been nursing, for crying out loud, So I do say to remember that the wheelchair is part of somebody's body, right? It is part of who they...
Wait, Deborah, do you have children?
Yes. I have 2 boys. I have a 16-year-old and a 12-year-old.
And you're in a wheelchair?
I am. Yes.
I did people. I'm just being silly here, right?
Oh, I know. I get that all the time. I would get that.
Wait, how do you have children?
Yeah, I get that all the time. I have gotten that. And because my husband's Korean, my kids also look very much like my husband and very little like me.
Uh-huh.
So I've been asked, do they belong to me before? Like, we were going to Home Depot for the building projects that you do with little kids. And we were every weekend for years. And finally someone goes, do they belong to you? And I'm going, well, first of all, whether they came out of my belly or not, they would still belong to me. Second of all, yes, they did grow in my belly for 9 months, or 9.5 months.
I know there's a bad, no, but I grabbed one in aisle 9 joke in there that I'm not going to say.
Well, they look very much like my husband and very little like me. I mean, they don't look like me at all, which is good because genetics.
When you were pregnant, people would say, like, "Oh, she's in a wheelchair because she's pregnant." Like when you're in a hospital.
But you know what? It was when I was pregnant that I realized how much of my stomach that I use in the wheelchair. So I do adaptive skiing. And they would ask, to be in the adaptive ski, especially the mono ski, which I can no longer use, but that one, they're like, you need to be in a wheelchair like 80% of the time. And I was, but I'm thinking, why? What does that matter? But when I was pregnant, 7 months pregnant, trying to get up a curb cut and couldn't, and I had a bunch of people just watching me as I was trying to get the dang curb cut, I realized, oh my goodness, we use our bellies tremendously in the wheelchair.
Sure.
And okay, I couldn't get up the curb cut, and I was too stubborn to ask for help, and I went back into my van again because I was so embarrassed that I couldn't get up.
So just for the rest of humanity, people in wheelchairs are just people. They can be married. They can have sex. They can make babies.
Yes.
They can make great employees. And, just Frank, sometimes humanity just pisses me off. You know what I mean? Like, because you've got to deal with all of that stuff all of the time. And it's like, I think there's YouTube. Like, seriously, like, if you think you might ever someday see somebody in a wheelchair, Google how to, talk to somebody in a wheelchair. And this is that thing that I talk about all the time, implicit bias, your asshole subconscious, all of these traits that we have leftover vestiges from evolution that don't do us any good today. You know what I mean? I love that we've been able to have you on here, and I hope that we can get you and that group on here too, because, it's 2022, and I love that. We still don't have to talk to people that are different. And the other thing I do want to say about that, just to go on that side, a little sideways on that, is I really was shocked when I thought about it. It's 2022, and there's a war in Europe. Like, what, that's got to tell you a little bit about humanity at this point, folks. Is we got a long way to go.
We really do. Oh, sorry, I changed my microphone to my camera. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I just got a new camera and I accidentally changed my microphone to that.
Share a little anecdote. Like when I was doing my PhD, there was a statistician who also had a PhD. He was brilliant, and he was suffering from muscular dystrophia. So I think he was in a wheelchair, and it just he was shaking too. Like whenever he has to, like, let's say, like plug in USB, he was like shaking it every time. I was like, should I ask him if I should help him or not? But I think it was a good model of someone who's, despite his physical limitation, was still very capable and working, and he was so brilliant. Every time I had an issue with my stats, I could go in and he would have the answer for me. So have I lost everyone?
No, I'm here, but I'm going to start to put the young fellow to bed here. But I wanted to ask Deborah, if when you got to the hospital when you were pregnant, did they have to put you in a different wheelchair?
No, I always use my own wheelchair, and they always come towards me with a wheelchair. I'm like, I got a chair here. Actually,
I can see the hospital doing. No, you can't use your own wheelchair.
So I have used some of the hospital chairs when they want to hang my IVs and things like that, because I visit the hospitals way too often, and I've spent them like 3 times this past year alone. But I usually stay in my own chair. But yes, I'm asked all the time, like, how did you have children? How did you do this? And we're regular people. There's nothing special about it other than we happen to have to use devices to help us get around. And Leanne, one of my disorders falls under the family of muscular dystrophy of it's called myasthenia gravis. But yeah, I was just recently in a video, in a interview on CBS News with the affiliate down here in San Diego, and they did a little spiel on the competition, me, and the family, and the reality of the fears that we could have, as well as the joys and the love of life that we can have, right? Because I'm the fears that you have parenting, well, it's kind of amplified when you have medical conditions. But then also the joys in life that I have through my crafts and my nonprofit work and my adaptive skiing programs, right? So they did a really good job putting that all together. And you're so right. One of the things that I think people forget is we are all human beings. We all want to be loved, and we all want to help. Well, I want to hope that we all want to help people. Let's just say we all want to help. We're hoping that the whole world wants to help people, help one another, care about one another, and have fun, So people forget that, though, or they just don't know what to say.
It would be nice if we had more characters in movies and TV show. And I'm thinking of a show, I think it was in England, actually, Sex Education, where it's kind of a teenage drama show, and there's a character there who's in a wheelchair, and he's has a kind of an important role. So I think it would be good to have more show like that, where we
Oh,
see,
yeah.
and not just like he's the wheelchair guy, like
Right. Yes, exactly.
like he has a story that doesn't involve his wheelchair.
Right. That's like the normalizing. That's what I like to say is normalizing the use of adaptive devices. Right. And they're not normally normalized. If they are in a movie, almost always it's like part of the character, or it's like a bad guy's thing that went bad, or something that happened in the lab that went bad, or some funky thing. It's not off. And I've seen 2 shows in England that include a main character that is wheelchair bound or disabled in some way, and it's not part of the main story. It's obviously the backstory, but it's not the main story. And I love that, because that's what we need, is to normalize all of these crazy things that life has. And whether you are neurodiverse, whether you have a disabilities, whatever it may be, normalizing our experiences, that's what we need. And making people more empathetic to everybody.
Like they used to do that with like color skin, like, oh, you had to have, like, once you have this color skin, you have this persona. So we kind of do the same thing with like trans and everything, where
yes,
like, if a person in a TV show is trans, like the whole story is about the fact that they're trans, but they can have their distinctive personality too.
Exactly.
They're just one thing.
I saw a show fairly recently that I think they're starting to understand that, you can have a trans person in there and you don't actually have to talk about them being a trans person as the main theme of the show, right? I think they are getting
there. And that's why people with disabilities are going, come on, now it's our turn. Give us our shot at these shows too. But yes, you are correct. I think it is getting to, not everywhere, but I think there's being more of a normalcy of acceptance of people. Okay, maybe I'm blind on this thing because I want to assume that everybody is getting more accepting of it. I'm hoping everybody is becoming more accepting of love is love, whoever they love, and and to not make that the whole story.
Go ahead, no, I didn't have the microphone muted. We're currently cleaning a cut from earlier in the day and adding some antibiotic to it. But I was going to say quickly is the reality is that we are not a culture, and I'm not giving anybody, an excuse, but change is very difficult for humans. And so to acclimate with the normalization of something as different, as someone in a wheelchair, that's going to take a seriously concerted effort by a lot of people, because you have so many biases and everything that are just that need to be talked about. I mean, literally just talking about it now is the kind of thing that needs to happen more often. That's why I'm thrilled about the wheelchair pageant there.
Yeah. Right. Oh, and I have a question for Deborah. So I don't know when you jumped in exactly, but you probably saw the title of the show. So have you heard of the topic that was supposedly?
Well, I want to reach to the topic, as I always say, I have loose screws. So when I saw the title, I was really interested because I always say there are screws loose in my head, and so my braces squeak really loudly. That my kids, when they were younger, my older son said, "There's no tooth fairy," and I go, "Why do you say that?" He goes, "Because the tooth fairy's brace doesn't squeak like your braces do." And so it's always, I usually have a loose screw in my braces, screws on my wheelchair, so I always like to say I've got loose screws. So when I saw the title, I was like, "Oh,
Have you heard of the that was the team actually of the show was the Depp and Amber Heard trial?
Oh yes, I've been listening about it. I have not watched the trial very much because well, having been to law school and then watching some of these things, I'm going, what the heck? Some of some of the things I just it doesn't quite make sense to me. So I usually don't watch too much of it, but I have been listening to people's analysis of it, which I think is kind of funny to listen to the analysis. This is interesting too to see where people are looking at with it as well. But yes, I loved the comment, by the way, of that she took a photo, and that was one thing I was going to say too. When you said that she did the editing with it, I'm thinking anybody can bring up colors and make something look more red or more blue or more purple. And nowadays you can do it in one little space. You can do a mask of the face, right? And you can change the colors on that one particular area and enhance it or what have you. So nowadays I kind of, when someone says photos, and then you said that she was out afterwards, right? The same day with other photos. I'm going, yeah, that would be pretty easy to do with the photo
24
editors.
hours after having a restraining order on your husband, you're out there laughing outside, like your face, like
Right,
it shows like she doesn't have much makeup on, like if any,
right,
and she doesn't seem like like I think the whole trial as well, like she kind of tried to depict herself and she says like, oh, I'm a victim, but then she's kind of so feisty. Like she come up like "Rah," like very in your face and very defensive, so she doesn't really
right.
kind of embody the persona of someone who would have been a victim.
And that's one of the things I've been hearing a lot, right? Is that element of somebody who's a victim or has been victimized usually has certain characteristics, right? And that's not what I'm hearing from descriptions. And yet at the same time, I know people can become empowered from their being a victim, and when they find their power, they're now empowered and they can be feisty. However, what you have 24 hours later after filing filing for the
Restraining order,
order, right? The restraining order, and you take a picture of a bruise, and then you're out drinking and having fun, and whatever it is you're doing with friends. That to me doesn't look good. Whether she was feeling great or not, it doesn't look good, right? And as one as a kid growing up to be a politician, I would always watch what I was doing, thinking, how would this look in the media if this was to come out, right? And I'm not saying that some she should have lived her life, but I am thinking, well, now you might want to think of how that's going to look when you're doing something after filing a restraining order, because you got to have to imagine at some point you're going to have to go to court about it. So
yeah,
I don't know.
and she knew there would be paparazzi, so she wasn't really hiding her tracks very well, for sure. And so I don't know when exactly we'll know if he wins or not, but he definitely win the public. Like I think I saw some statistic where like tweets in favor of him were kind of like 10 times full. Like there was much more support in his favor. So I think he, even if he doesn't win the trial, at least he won the public trial.
Although it does show us that there was not good interaction between both of them in the relationship, and I do think there will be some hurt towards his public image. Just from the things that came out, makes you kind of go, let's think about this one again. I don't know for certain of how people will be impacted by it. I think though. I think a lot of people have been pulling away from it by this time. I don't. It's like so much other things going on in the world, right? That I'm hoping people are also paying attention to those things too. I don't know. I really
Yeah,
don't.
I think once Johnny Depp gets back on his claws, has a big blockbuster, there'll be another Pirates movie after that. It'll be called the Pirates. He should actually make them call it the Pirates. We're sorry we fired you.
and I think he said he probably has signed for being in the Juice Beetle 2, I think. Beetlejuice 2.
But no, seriously, I've been having fun with that. But I thought it was in Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton was Beetlejuice, but Johnny Depp was the innocent. Oh, okay, never mind. So I couldn't remember. No,
Wait, who was he in Beetlejuice? I don't remember. Who was he in Beetlejuice? Now you need to remind me.
Edward Scissorhands. That's what I'm talking about.
Scissors Hands. I remember that one.
But is Johnny Depp in Beetlejuice?
I thought it was Keaton, like you said. I didn't remember Johnny Depp being in that one.
But he said he signed for this second.
Oh well, maybe they
Oh.
confused him with Michael Keaton, or maybe he, because there's got to be like a normal person. Maybe I did seriously. That's how old that movie is. I can't remember. Normal. I know. Sorry. After all that.
Oh, I say that I've been trying to get away from that word because I teach young people about disabilities and about inclusion. So I'm trying to get away from the word normal. But I still say I often say that.
I know, but I apologize, Beetlejuice, for Alexa. Stop! I apologize, Beetlejuice, for doing that to you. I really did.
Well, and Edward Scissorhands is always the example we used to give to people about how amputations and prosthetics were depicted in Hollywood, right? Because they were depicted right more as a weapon than they were as a tool for him to still be able to do something. So that's whenever I hear Scissorhands, I'm always thinking of that example that we used to give to the kids in our STEAM programs. But anyway, I digress. That was a little trail down.
We can make an analogy with the pirate thing, the hook.
Right, exactly. Yes. And if you think about it,
that's something evil in a way. Like it's
right. Well, that's exactly it. That was one of the things that we were talking to young children about when we teach them about STEAM programs, and we're doing universal design, and we did one on artificial limbs and how do you create them and what does it do, and we made like a little hand and they got to play with it and maneuver it. But then we talked about how is it depicted in Hollywood, and you have the hooks and the scissors and some of these chairs are like all souped up to be a weapon, right? And so many times they're not depicted in a beautiful way as a tool to allow somebody to be the best version of themselves, but they're depicted as a weapon. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. Although I would say I wouldn't mind if my leg braces, everybody, if I'm like in the Bay Area, like in the near like a Maker Faire kind of thing, everyone's like, oh, those are robotic legs. But I'm going, if I can have like little tools popping out of my braces, little weapons for defense, that could be pretty awesome. That would be fun. Anyway, in reality, they don't do that. They're not cool. They don't do anything fun except keep my legs together, and they're not pretty.
Well, we're gonna be at a place someday where there will be people that will be choosing to alter their body to get the upgrades, and I think that all of the folks who actually need upgrades should get them.
I am with you. I want a carbon copy of my body that actually works. The carbon copy movie? They have a book, a carbon copy. The book was really good. I'm waiting for sci-fi to catch up to reality.
I have put in I've asked I've asked for the Clooney and then I want the Brad Pitt abs from the one where he's fighting with Edward Norton. And I'm just gonna section off, my new body.
That's awesome.
That's something we talked about today. For my novel, like, should I add like something like I had it a lot of tech, but I never had, because I'm writing a sci-fi novel, but I haven't made any like cyber parts or anything of this sort.
Well, a cyborg, just so people know, is a human that has some, mechanical, biomechanical, whatever parts, right? They're not a robot. The Terminator is not. He's a robot with a human-liking skin, but the Borgs on Star Trek, those were cyborgs, and so we already have cyborgs in a sense with all of these really awesome arms and stuff that they have for folks, that are all printed and everything. Even though they're not permanently attached, permanent attachment might not even be necessary for quite a long time, at least for arms and stuff. But I mean, it won't. At least my little guy here that's 8. I'm sure they will see much more integrated systems, into us. And then what becomes a disability and what isn't, right? Because there is no difference. We're all just people.
Well, and I was going to say, I have a machine that delivers medication directly to my spinal cord. It's a surgically implanted machine.
You're a cyborg.
Exactly. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm a cyborg.
You are a cyborg. I think that would be a cyborg quality.
Exactly. I mean, and I'm a sci-fi geek. I love sci-fi movies and books and such. So I have no problem saying that I'm a cyborg. But
Yeah,
I
and
have.
especially if you're like, if all this, if Ron were here, and he could do some kind of,
Well, his face is still on
another
stage, so
whatever, like
I don't understand. But I see his face on stage underneath.
Yeah, he said he was having difficulties, but yeah. So in the novel, it takes place in 2090, and there is some nano tech like you
Okay.
can get in your body. But I haven't created other things. But you made me think like, should I have someone with disability having like cyborg legs or something? You could
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that'd be great, even if it's like an exo. So I always call my braces my exoskeleton. So
yeah.
I have a cage of metal holding my neck together. I have a port inside for my infusions, and I have a machine in my stomach for my medications. And I have full leg braces and arm braces and back braces. But you can make those mechanical, right? And that can help control and maneuver a person. And I think those are pretty awesome, right? Because that helps somebody maneuver, get around, and still, be part of the community, so to speak. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. Also, I think souped up chairs that can go really fast and that can stand up, right? That gives a person the ability to sit
It's
and stand.
probably the one thing that bothers you the most is the fact that you always stands and everyone is kind of like
Yes.
sitting up.
I was never claustrophobic until I started going to events in my wheelchair. When I went to BlizzCon and Comic Con, nobody sees this little tiny chair at the floor, and everyone's looking above, and they just kind of walk into you. So that ability to
What, like
stand.
crosses level of everyone? It's
Yes.
fun.
Oh my god, that is so true. And the pictures when they take pictures and you're at that level, it is not good looking. I just gotta say, the pictures are just Anyway, there are some interesting pictures of me sitting in my chair with people all standing around me. And yeah, when you said where my eye level is, definitely not the best for pictures. And so I also noticed, I shouldn't be standing, but sometimes I stand to try to talk to people to be at their level or higher, especially when you're working with kids. It's nice to be above the kids. So those chairs that stand up are amazing, but they're
those are
crazy
really
expensive.
cool. Those
They
are really
are.
cool.
And so is the outdoor all-terrain wheelchairs that can go down like 30-degree slopes, and they can go over the dirt and the sand and the grass, but they're like
Those have to
they're
be
like
crazy
quite
expensive
far.
though, right?
And that I
They
just
are.
remember the video of a woman who was in a wheelchair, but for a wedding, she got to kind of walk. Like they were able to, I don't know how the
Well,
tech was working, but she was like so ecstatic about the fact that she could walk.
so I did the opposite. I was ecstatic to be able to use my wheelchair and do a wheelchair dance with my husband. So for us, and we had a wedding renewal ceremony 5 years ago, and that was the first time I ever got into social media because I was in a competition to share our wedding dance. It was choreographed by American Dance Fields, and they choreographed an absolutely beautiful dance for us. And we had somebody who worked with us. His name was Derek. He worked with us for many hours, for many weeks. And we ended up dancing to our song. That's been our song since City of Angels came out in the movie theater because it's from that soundtrack. But and I applaud those who can stand for their wedding. But I also want to say if you can sit for your wedding, and that's okay too. And I sat, and we had a beautiful dance that ended up with my husband dipping me and dipping me and kissing me at the end. It was a dream dance, and I did it all from my chair. I mean, I still couldn't breathe very much afterwards, but we did it all from my chair, and it was beautiful. I mean, I won't lie, it was my dream dance, and the fact that I was in the chair versus standing, it didn't really matter. We had the spins, the twists, the dips, the whole thing.
Were you able to film that? Because I think it would be
We
very
did.
powerful. Okay, so
It is on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I want to see that for sure.
Yes, it's
and for
beautiful.
all the women who kind of look at their life and say like, oh my god, I will never be able to do this or that, and then you're
Right.
showing it like it can be beautiful.
Right. And if anybody, I can't type in the chat, but I was gonna say it's my name. If you Google my name, Deborah, and karate, Karate, wedding dance, you'll find it. That's my husband's name.
Yeah, I can see that thing go viral because I saw another video recently on Reddit again, where there was a guy at a concert and he was in a wheelchair. And if you're at a concert in a wheelchair, you don't see the freaking concert.
No, you can't.
You don't
You
feel
cannot.
like part of it. So what they did, they kind of raised him with the wheelchair, and he was like having so much fun. It's just you can see like how like people were amazing.
Right, and sometimes people can be really great. Oh, I can put it in the chat. I just put the wedding dance link in the chat.
Okay.
And sometimes people can be absolutely amazing. I can't remember. We went to a show with both of my boys, my wheelchair, my service dog, and my husband, and they did give us one of those like box seats to be able to see, and it was great because I didn't have to have a head in front of me. I'm trying to like see over, right? Because when people stand, you can't see over people when they're standing. So yes, I did also. I will say, when I was in high school, I was in a Congressional Youth Conference, and it was President Clinton's first inauguration, and it was I went to an MTV gala, and because I was on crutches and I had the scooter, we got put right in the front where all the politicians walked in. So that was great, and didn't have to have any heads in front of me. So that was really great. It is hard to get to these events and to get in front and to be able to see. And so that is important. And that one of the things I have been learning now is to specifically state what I need, because I didn't always do that. I didn't always tell people, hey, let me get in. But today is one of those examples where I did. I was waiting a really while for a changing room. There's only one handicap room, and then all the other ones are like accessible for able-bodied people, but only one for handicapped. So I finally had to say, excuse me, would you mind please moving to a different stall so that I can get in here with all of this clothes? And so as I was going down that road, is sometimes it's hard to stand up, figuratively, and say, I need X, Y, and Z so that I can see, right? And people don't necessarily think about it. It's not like, I think most times it's not intentional. They're just not used to a chair, so they haven't thought about what we can't see when they make a handicap section, right? And so sometimes it's just standing up and saying why something's not working and what we need, but it's often hard to be that spokesperson, right? To stand up and say, hey, this ain't working. We need X, Y, and Z to make this happen so that we can be fully accessible. But it takes time. It's a journey. It is, and I do a lot for invisible disabilities because many of my disorders are invisible. So I do try to talk about it whenever I can, but I will say it's taken me, even having been an advocate my whole life in some way, shape, or form, it's taken me a really long time to learn to say what I need or what I see other people might need, like somebody visually impaired, hearing impaired, nonverbal, any of those things. So it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes that ability to step out of our comfort zone to ask for those accommodations.
Yeah, and
Deborah.
there's still a lot of sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, really, I'm getting a little frustrated. You're a cyborg, you're invisible. Okay, just quit showing off. All right.
I'm a collector, man. I am an absolute collector of these things.
Yeah, like an invisible cyborg, like in a wheelchair. That's the coolest stuff ever.
Yes. So, here's the thing for the news. I was gonna say too is so my kids and I, because I'm a scout leader, so we've used my wheelchair as part on the range to help me balance things, to help me do the shooting ranges. I mean, we've done some unique things. I've used an old cane for a stand from an archery for my bow. I mean, we have been creative in including some of these things, and then I at times will be doing IV fluids or IV treatments. Actually, during that interview, I was doing my infusion for my plasma IVIG, which includes plasma-based therapies. Anybody, if you haven't donated plasma, think about it, because we always need plasma donations. Sorry, that's my plug for people to donate plasma, because we need.
Hey, Ron. Oh, sorry, Deborah. Ron, try again, buddy. I think I kicked you off the stage. Maybe that will let you come back up. And then, Deborah, look, when the kids at the camp, when you got to keep your ears really peeled, because when you hear somebody say, "Get the parachute for the lady in the wheelchair," you better shut it down. Shut it down.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to do a parachute jump. I've been told, my husband said I'm not allowed to jump out of a plane. And there was one place I was going to, and they were showing how to skateboard, and wheelchair-bound people to skateboard. My husband banned me from that because I managed to really hurt myself in so many unique ways without adding these adventures, that I've been banned from some of these things. So I am banned from that. But would I do it if I wasn't? Probably. I've seen hand gliding for people in wheelchairs. I have been water skiing, snow skiing, surf kayaking, the ice skating. I have not played the sledge hockey because that's insane how they do that. But I have been on the sledge hockey skates. and I have not done surfing yet, but I have done paddleboarding. They're a lot of fun.
I have
And
seen, I have seen the.
I see
Oh,
two
go ahead.
new people join, so maybe they want to talk about the topic of
sorry, we got to win this all over the way. Sorry, Leanne.
So anyone who wants to talk about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial in the audience?
And yeah, please. We have to actually check because I forget that people can talk to us from the thing here. But Ron, I keep inviting you. I don't know what's going on, buddy. Maybe close out the app. And
I got it. I'm on.
Yeah,
you're
he's on
there.
stage.
Okay, good.
He's under Leanne's picture.
Yeah.
Oh, before I forget,
oh, there he is.
Ron?
There he is.
I forgot.
Well,
I was
yes.
telling you the message. You can move people's faces around that have their videos on so that you can see this.
Awesome.
Okay, so we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes, anyone wants to talk about this trial?
Anybody from the audience?
Yeah, well, and please raise your hand. We'll be happy to bring you up. Deborah, I wanted to just say quickly that this has just been, and you can stay, but this has been, well, I don't know, an invisible cyborg. I don't know how comfortable I am with that, but but this has just been really cool that we got to talk to you, and I just want to say anybody that if if you're listening to this on the replay, or whatever, share the first half out and I'll send you $5. But if you share the second half out, I really won't. But if you share the second half out, do that, where we've been talking about wheelchairs and everything, because I just think it's great.
Yeah, if you share it together, it will be a bit weird, but I think both are
Exactly. I know. I was thinking titling the episode Amber Heard about a wheelchair, but I don't think.
Like, is she in a wheelchair?
Yes, this is what happens when Deborah comes onto stage. I change a topic. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you, though. That was the other thing. Well, and then we, see where we go from here. But what brought you to Fireside?
Oh, I've been on fire. I have only done a couple of shows on Fireside, but I came over here like a couple months ago. My friend Laura invited me over, and really, honestly, it's because I wanted to do some shows where we talk about how do we normalize our differences to make it more comfortable in society, right? Because often I've been in a lot of disability-related groups, and they're great and they're empowering, but I haven't found a really good bridge between the disability community and mainstream communities, right? And to like as Leanne was mentioning too, about in the movies, about in representation, in all elements of life, we're not being represented enough. And this is one minority group that anybody can become a member of at any time.
Well,
so helping normalize it is what I'm trying to do.
I want to talk personally. Like, my father actually, he's not in a wheelchair, but he has braces and he walked with a cane. So all my life, but I never see him as handicapped. Like he was still able to kind of go on bike rides with, but he always felt bad that he could never put me on his shoulder and carry me, like those type of things. But yeah, one time he went for a job with his can and everything, and he wanted to work to help kids with disabilities, and he got the job on the spot because he kind of showed that he didn't care about that. He wasn't it wasn't the whole thing, the whole story for him.
Hey, look. Oh, sorry. Look, you could just get, we actually had this discussion on a Twitter Spaces the other day about bridges between, folks with developmental disabilities or anything and what quote unquote, whatever the rest of us are. But again, to go on with that cyborg thing, you can get a whole team of you folks together and make your own bridge. So
very true. Very true. And Leanne, you mentioned something too, right? About how you saw your father. My kids see me the same way. Like I see myself as limited in being, because I don't drive anymore. I don't have a license anymore. And I've been asked to speak about parenting with disabilities and who is a caregiver. My younger son was tying my shoes for me yesterday, helping me get them on. And he was so sweet about it. And I'm like, well, I think your guys are the caregivers. And he's like, no, you're still the caregiver. So it's interesting. It's like I see myself more limited than they do, right? They just see what I'm doing. So it is very cool. I love how you see your dad. And I think that's really important. So I love that you mentioned that. That's how my kids see.
The thing, like you mentioned disability, and then it took me a while to say, oh, I have experience with someone with disability in my life, and it just doesn't occur to me. Like he wasn't disabled in my mind. Like
Right, and
So Ron,
that's amazing.
real quickly. So you got hold of my friend Barry Rabowski. He got that.
Right.
He got that legal. That legal
He's
little
got
hiccup.
everything's under control. Don't you worry. Everything's lined up. Everything's lined up. Good to go. Don't you worry.
All right, good. I'm glad. Barry is a great attorney, and I am glad that he could get that stuff. Oh, it was technical. I wasn't supposed to say what you said in the text. Damn it. Sorry about that. I've been doing that all night.
And yeah, I came on again, and then there was a technical difficulties again. And then I thought you were going to end the show soon, so I just didn't. Sadly, I didn't try for a minute, but I'm here now.
See, Ron, I was worried if I scared you away there.
No, of course not, Deb. Of course not.
Ron, you've got about 40 minutes of talking to do to catch up. So go.
Yeah, so, let's start at the beginning. I was born. There you go.
Yeah, the opening.
Wait a minute.
The jerk. I remember that one. Go ahead.
I had a question. Did you say attorney and technical? Or I didn't hear that. I was listening.
I was trying to make a joke that my friend Barry Rabowski, who's an ambulance chaser, a very wealthy ambulance chaser.
Well, I was. That's what thought I was hearing. I was just checking. Sorry, I've been to law school. I was 5 years away from my law degree, which is a whole other story. But I was going to say most of the attorneys that I went to school with were not technical. So I was laughing at that because I'm a computer-ish. So I was laughing at that statement. But then I was wondering.
Deborah, I read an article not too long ago. Well, actually, it was a year ago, but it was about those handicapped and how, like, for instance, I've never done this before, but I could see how I could have made the mistake had I not read this. But people that are in wheelchairs do not like you to put your hands on it, correct?
What I was mentioning, that the wheelchair is really technically an extension of who we are, an extension of our body. So if you want to help somebody before you push, ask. Just say, would you like help? And I'll be honest, I don't normally say yes, but if it's a door, yes, doors are my enemy. And last time I was in DC, right before COVID shut down, there was somebody like, oh, it's just down the block when we were going up to the senator's offices for an advocacy day. And the hill was huge. Somebody came up behind me and asked if I would like help. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. So I was really, really grateful that they asked, because I wouldn't have asked anybody because I'm stubborn. So I wouldn't have asked anybody. I would have been struggling to try to get up that hill like an inch by inch. So I appreciated the help.
So basically they don't put like little, like usually you have like a push button where the door will open.
Many doors do not have that. You'll be surprised at how many doors do not have those push buttons. The vast majority do not have those push buttons. So yeah, a lot of bathroom doors do not have those push buttons. They're not.
Very true. Very true. Mm-hmm. So even if they have a handicap,
yes.
If it's inside the bathroom is handicap, it's not the door itself is not right.
Even where I went adaptive skiing, the outside door did not have the button. And it was the only bathroom that was near the disability skiing. And I'm going, you have a whole section here for adaptive skiing, for physical and cognitive, and you can't have a button on a door. This does not compute.
Sure. And it's not enforced, right? Like you have to have a bathroom, but for the door, they don't enforce it.
It's not enforced.
But it seems like a joke almost. It seems like a cruel joke.
Well, and that's actually when I first went to college, it was the first time that I was asked to do any kind of advocacy for disability things, right? Because before that, I was advocating more in the civil rights area. I was planning going to become a civil rights attorney in social justice law, and so in constitutional law. When I got to college, I was asked if things I wanted changed to be more accessible, and I've been using crutches at that point for 7 years. Just started using an electric scooter. And one of the things on my list were buttons for the doors, because at SUNY Albany, every building had 2 doors to get in. The outside door had buttons, but the inside door didn't. So I'm like, okay, great, I can get away from the snow, and then I got to sit here waiting until somebody here can open the door for me. So that was so when I see buttons or lack of buttons, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is like college all over again. Mind you, they did change it. They did fix it. That was one of the things they fixed. They did a whole lot. They were phenomenal in the changes that they made, both for visual hearing impaired and for physical disabilities. But it was interesting to see how many things needed to be done, and they were phenomenal about it. I got to give them the credit for that. But yes, it is not a requirement to have those buttons. And so people sometimes don't realize how hard those doors are to open. And so for me, I'm just like those. Plus, I have a service dog as well,
Oh,
and
you do.
I do. My service
Yeah,
dog is my best.
is it a German? I mean, not German.
No,
Retriever, golden retriever.
he is a rescue dog from a shelter. He is a lab and pit mix, and he
Oh,
has been. Yeah, he is my mobility dog. He has been with me for 9.5 years. We little over 9 years and some months because we adopted him in the month of January 9 years ago, and he. I was so fortunate. Operation Freedom Paws trained us. It is a program traditionally for veterans, but they do take civilians like myself. He pulls me, braces me, picks up things for me. Also medical alert. So it's phenomenal. I am one of the luckiest people to have
right.
him and found the right trainers.
I've been in the same place. I used to go to a pharmacy for my mother, and there was one gentleman who he was legally blind. He had to have one to walk across the street. What I noticed about this one, or about first time I'd ever been around a service dog, is that they seem to understand when I'm looking at him that he knew he was there to do a job. That's what it looked like. It's amazing. I mean, it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
So when his vest is on, he knows he's working. I mean, it's just simple as that. Because I've trained him vest on, working. And it's funny, too, because as soon as the vest goes on, he will stand up next to me as if he's waiting for me to fall. Like, I'm like, dude, seriously?
So he knows work time's off when he's got the vest off.
Right. So, like, we're at Boy Scout camp. I'll take his vest off at nighttime to let him play around. And, man, that vest comes off. That tail wags all over the place. He is all over like he is
That's
any other dog on the planet.
That is
And,
amazing.
yes. But he scares bears away, which is very good, but very useful at camp where there are bears. But I will say they do know that difference. And my dog has multiple personalities because he has his working personality. If I'm in the hospital or in an ambulance, he has a very different personality, a very serious personality, and will not greet anybody even when given permission. And if he's working and this is a regular day for me, I give him permission. He'll be happily greet somebody and then come right next to me, back to me again. So it has a lot to do with how we train our service animals and how they respond when it's working and meeting and greeting and stuff like that. But again, that's another story. I know you have the topic here on hand, so but I'll be quiet. But
I think we lost Ron again. He's in.
No, I'm right here.
Okay,
You hear me? Yeah.
I cannot see you.
Oh yeah.
I see him.
So what do when we go into this last we're going into, what is the jury thinking, Leanne? What are they deciding on exactly? Are they deciding on an amount possibly to award Johnny?
Yeah, so I think they first have to say, like, because with and it's good that Deborah is a lawyer, so she can help us with that. But
I didn't finish. I was 5 units away from the law degree, so I did not yet finish that. I'm still trying to fight to
you
finish it.
probably are more knowledgeable than us on this subject. So from what I've heard, they say like proving defamation is super hard
Right.
because you have to kind of prove there was ill intent and there was damages. So you have kind of twofold, and that's what basically what the lawyer were trying to present is they wanted to Amber to get off on the technicality. Which it's kind of very frustrating as the public, where we see her like lying over and over, but then they would be like, oh, but technically did abuse her a little bit. Like we can what is abuse? Like, oh, is beating up cabinet door abuse? And yeah, he was violent in that exchange. So so is he abusive? And then or Habet is not technically wrong because she was saying I'm a victim of domestical abuse.
Right, and there are elements that has to be proven for that, right? The intent
and she
and
has
the
to
harm.
and then he has to prove that it's because of her allegation that were false that he lost like I think he did say that I think they cancel him on the few
Right.
like shows. He could say like, oh, it's because of other stuff because he was taking
Right.
drugs. They claim there was other reasons.
That's where the hard part is proving the injury, the harm, right? The loss of something because of the false statement. And that's where it gets to be really hard because you have that false statement, but you have to prove because for that statement he lost the job, but for that statement he would be employed, right? So he has to prove that statement caused the harm. So not only does it have to be false, it has to have caused the harm that he's claiming in order to get
Right.
But
so that's where it's hard.
The funny part is when you hear the lawyer basically saying like everything might not be really true. Like basically almost admitting that Amber Heard was like lying your ass off, and so it's not a good thing when you're like when you're basically saying like, oh, like, or like, even if it's not totally true, like he was still bad. Like that's I don't know if you watched that, but it was kind of funny to hear like saying like our client is bad, but she might be like true on a few instances. Like,
It seems like it's going to be though difficult to, especially determine or to prove that what she, even if she's lied, if that's really the cause of his decline in wages and everything like that. And I don't think, and the thing is, what I truly believe is that even though I love Johnny Depp, it's been proven with this that he has a problem with opiates, a problem with drugs, and this could be definitely a contributing factor. And in any time that, you have an addict, you have someone that wants to blame other people. I mean, she probably contributed, but I just think that that's a factor to consider too.
yeah,
Well,
but
and I think you're right.
he's been addicted for so long, and it's after the allegation that he lost a job. So
Okay.
And Ron, I
he's
think,
not honest.
but I think something that you said about it is right. Right, between the drugs, between the anger management challenges, right, that makes it really hard to say, but for her restatements, he would have the job, right?
Right.
Or that, and if you can't prove that, but for, he would have been employed, that's where it's really hard to prove defamation of character, right? Because if I don't have that, but for you have the personality changes, you have the addiction issues, you have the anger management issues. Those can all impact a reason why somebody wouldn't want to employ you. And
Right.
if you can't prove that, but for that incident, but for her claim, then I would be employed. It's going to be, you can't get this, you can't prove that harm then. So I think the hardest part is going to be proving that he's been harmed by her statements, and that it was her statements that caused him to lose those jobs.
Well, and I think I'm no lawyer, and I've dated a few, but I mean, and there's only two kinds of psychologists: ones that'll date me and ones that run. But I think if you're a celebrity, it's even a harder test for some of these things. I don't know if it's defamation or slander, but definitely if you're a public figure, it's much more difficult. But this is a private relationship that she's made public, so I think it's an interesting challenge, probably. But the law may be fairly clear cut in the foreign country. I don't know.
But I think there was a particular movie franchise. I think it was like Pirates of the Caribbean or something that he
Yes.
was supposed to be on the movie, but
The sixth one.
yeah. So you can say like this particular movie, like he was set to make I don't know how many millions.
Right.
Probably billions.
That didn't go through. So
Billions at this point, being Johnny Depp, and how that movie was would have been the next in a series. It was probably.
Well, not just that, he was let go of the that new spinoff of Harry Potter, that whatever the wizard.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. That I saw. There's one. He was in one of them, and
Yes, he was.
That was the one
he
with Michael Jackson, right?
No, that's you thinking about Willy Wonka or
No, I was thinking about the Wiz. I was just making a joke.
Oh, I got you. Great movie.
He was. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember which number it was, but the kids probably would. But I know what you're talking about. But again, it comes to the point of how do you prove that it was that this issue is why he doesn't have the job? And that's, as from the legal aspect, and again, I'm not a practicing attorney, just went to school. But when it comes down to that element of the harm has to have been caused by her statements. And because he has so many other things also, and like you were saying too, being a public figure, so much of his life is out in the open, that it's going to be challenging to prove that this was the cause and the only cause of why he doesn't have the employment contracts now.
And this is another reason why everybody hates lawyers, because they get their job and then they don't even start practicing until they have their job. Like, they should be practicing for years before they get the job, shouldn't they?
Well, what do you mean by that? Because when I went to law school, it wasn't easy. I'm gonna say it wasn't easy, and I did clerk for judges. It was an EOC judge, for 2 years. So
Wait.
I'm what are you
Wait,
talking
did that
about?
joke land that far, or are you just getting me? I was
What?
no, I was just making a joke about why they call it. You're a
No,
practicing attorney.
I okay, I get it now. You've explained it. Sometimes I need to be explained, but
Okay, it's okay.
it's all
That's right.
good.
I knew that went wrong. Like you're defending yourself. Oh no, I was just saying. Ron,
I think it's
Ron, quit feeding me jokes.
I try my best. I try my best.
it's all good. Yes, it is, and with law, it's always about that word, one or two words that makes the law, right? And then all of the exceptions that come out, which is why people don't like us.
The good thing though is it's in front of a jury, so I think the jury, like if they kind of had their mind that she's guilty in a way, they'll even if I think if it was in front of a judge, it would be very different than if it was a jury, because a jury kind of
Right.
could lean towards like their gut feeling.
I have a good friend who's a lawyer, and he owns a car dealership, and that's like the worst. Human beings wrapped into one. The lawyer and
If
the
you add,
used car salesman.
if you add insurance, then
Yeah.
you have
Oh my gosh.
triumph there.
Good Lord! I
The
mean, I don't know
trifecta
that
effect.
he'd even be allowed to buy food in the grocery store if he were those three things.
The trifecta.
Thanks. I can come up with the responses every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while I could come back with something to my kids like, "You got me there, Mom! Congratulations!"
Yeah, my comebacks are usually good 2 or 3 days later.
You know what? I'm in the same ballpark, man. I am. I like to say I'm slow in response because of my cognitive challenges, but honestly, I was slow before cognitive challenges. But yeah, mine usually come back 3 days later. I will wake up with an answer, and then it's like people don't remember what the joke was, so it doesn't work anymore.
So I think we're going to like 2.5 hours live.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you guys at least owe me $30 each.
Wait a minute. I thought you were giving me money here. Wait.
No, it doesn't work that. The privilege of being on my show? No way.
No. You're going to be giving me money.
This is an
I know.
infomercial. These two people paid to be on here. They're not really funny.
I'm manifesting y'all giving me the money now for my fundraising.
All right, well, I'll talk to Mr. Cuban.
Yeah.
yeah. So do you have something you want to talk about? Like where can we find you, Deborah?
Oh, me? So I am now forward rolling on all of my major platforms because I needed something that was consistent. Forward rolling on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I think I'm forward rolling on here too. I don't know if I changed it on here yet. But yeah, so I'm on
Forward what?
forward rolling,
Rolling.
FORARD rolling, ROLLING, because I'm always
Yeah,
moving
in
forward.
a wheelchair, remember?
Yeah, so I as a play on words, but my motto is always keep rolling forward or keep moving forward. So that is my handle everywhere now. As my new handle is forward rolling, and it's also on Clubhouse too. So I am on a lot of different platforms, and I have a baby YouTube channel as well. I've just started that, and I'm going to do some of the shows on here as well, which focuses on stories in which we pivot, and through that pivot, we find our true purpose, right? Because all of us have to, at some point in time, face obstacles and have to figure out a way around it, over it, or through them. And how we do that is what I'm trying to highlight, because that's, I think, interesting to see how we all manage to get through those challenges and find our purpose in life.
Hey, Leanne,
Yeah.
for book 2, I think Deborah just nailed the thing. A baby cyborg.
I love it.
But then there's clone in the book.
Yeah, I like it.
And I could just say that, yeah. So I'm a psychologist, but I'm also a writer. So I have my debut novel that will be hopefully coming up this year. So it's called Wrong Side, the trashy Cinderella series in 2090. Yeah, it takes place in 2090. So it's a futuristic spy story with a romantic triangle. And I like to describe it as a like sexy cyberpunk thriller. There's a cross between an HBO of Cinderella and The Fifth Element. So we follow Ella, that's a 24-year-old woman who lives in a very kind of more dystopian type of world. That's unfortunately like the future is not super nice. It's always the
I
case.
am.
We don't see the future being nice.
It sounds awesome.
Oh, thanks.
I gotta say, by the way, hands down to you for writing all that, because I've written like a chapter in a collaborative book. I have not written anything more than a chapter yet. So anybody writes a book, I'm like bowing down to you. But I actually love the premise of your story, because I love like the sci-fi type stories and mystery type stories too. So I love it. Just sounds amazingly awesome and cool. I just had to tell you that. I just
Well, look, I'm not going
talk about
not
that
gonna-
because you're reading my book now.
to speak for Leanne because I'm not the author, but I could definitely, you got to work it in realistically, obviously, to the plot, but a laser wielding invisible cyborg.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, but right now they have like their phones instead of like be the thing that you have to put in your pocket. Like they fold in your
Yes,
arms
that'd be cool.
right now, and you have an Alexa that or Siri whatever that actually works. Like it's kind of a person you can talk to, so it's fun. Like yeah.
Oh God, Ron, we could start dating again.
I will say I don't have it right now, but there is a thing called a new drive that becomes like a power to put in the back of a manual chair, and it can be controlled by your Apple Watch. And so when you're saying that, like, I don't know how I originally got my Apple Watch, besides having a button to press if I fall and need medical help. Yes, if I fall and I can't get up, I can use my Apple Watch.
Yeah, but I mean,
in the US, I was getting one for my mom because also she has difficulty walking.
Right.
And you cannot have that in Canada, unfortunately. It's only for the US.
Oh, see, and I love it because when I do fall, I've actually had my watch go off before saying, "You're falling. Do you need emergency services?" And I have to like tell her not to call.
Yeah, it looks good. Like it looks like everyone like has an Apple Watch, but here in Canada we can only have the big thing that you put in your like a necklace.
Right, yeah, like those old commercials. I fall and I can't get up, and you press the button for it.
Yeah, and
look at that. Another business Apple drove out of existence. Flashlights, cameras, and now poor little old lady can't even film her commercials anymore. That is ridiculous.
But the Apple Watch, like everyone wears Apple Watch except Ron, I guess.
Well, those Android people, they can't tell time. So they don't
Listen,
know
listen. I want to say, listen, Leanne's getting married in a month, and is Gil? Can we see Gil?
He's. I see him.
Gil thought this was not funny 3 hours ago, Ron.
I could invite
That's all right.
him to speak.
Okay, my husband's on any of the social medias that I'm on.
Yeah. Oh, and
It's
I'm
all right.
on YouTube too. I have a tiny channel. I think I have 3 videos on there, so we can follow each other on.
All righty. I've got one official podcast launched video and audio. It's on audio that's already out, but I have others to launch. I have a couple of videos out there. I was slow to put them out. I was slow to gain confidence to do my own shows, but I'm now doing them. It's just taken me a long time to do them, but now I can do them.
Comfortable, like
that is so good. And I haven't even given my wife this address yet, so you guys are doing better than I am.
Yeah, my husband doesn't even care. He's like, I don't want to know about it, pretty much. But that's okay.
Before we get done, I want to say Ron is a musician. Have you your guitar close by? You can maybe play us something.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Little ditty about Jack and Diane. Oh wait, it's Ron singing. All right, go ahead, buddy.
And what's your handle on Twitter? It's Perry _ Ron.
It is, and my name is Noble Ron. Of course, you can look that up too.
Because
but,
you're so noble, always noble.
Ron.
Look, there's only one Lord around here, buddy.
Okay.
And where can we find your podcast? It's on Podbean, right?
It's on Podbean, but it's on Google Podcasts as well, and it's American Chronicles Podcast presents Ron's show. So it's a long.
Is it on? Is it on the God's Green Apple Network or Hee Haw or anything?
Not on Hee Haw. Yeah, Hee Haw. Hee Haw was a great show, actually. Though
It was
a fun show. Who was
You know
the main
what?
guy?
Think about that show. I don't think it was even like politically incorrect or anything. I'd have to watch
No.
it. It was just pure like G-rated fun.
It was. They would have different stars on, and it was a way for, I guess, the country music crowd to kind of get into the limelight, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
Roy Clark. Roy Clark was the guy who played the banjo. That's what his name was. But anyway,
And Rev, where can we find your you have oh, I forgot the name of that. Your posting. Go find.
After midnight, I'm back at the at 28th and California in the detention center until 8 in the morning. But otherwise,
Where are you at?
you can find me at RevMac Live everywhere. If you find me if you find a social network that doesn't have RevMac Live, sign me up and just use the password 1234. He's a god, and then just let me know that you've signed up for me, and I'll change the password to 1234. He's definitely a god. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, and your GoFundMe keep me in the
Oh yeah, my GoFundMe. You can find that pinned right to the top of my Twitter. Or if you dig around in the Instagram after you've been, scrolling on Ron's bikini photos,
yes.
come on over to my Instagram, and it should be in the link tree bio as well. And if you want to help out, that would be great. Any billionaires that are listening, really, your pocket lint would probably, I could sell that. So, throw it my way.
okay. So as we
And
leave,
any money you get, you're gonna donate back to my competition, right?
Well, I've got a bit of a competition in my life right now, but we will definitely work something out for sure.
so Ron, can you see that?
I'm playing right now. You probably just can't hear it.
But with we want the voice.
Sing for
I'm sorry.
The voice too.
Oh, you want the voice too?
us.
Oh boy. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think of something I can.
The show.
Let me see. Oh, okay. You want? Okay. Well, see, I don't know if you can hear it though.
We can.
Very well.
Ron, here's the key. You need to be louder than the guitar, and that way, when the compressor kicks in over the internet, it will compress your voice. We'll hear your voice a little better than the guitar, which is what you want to do.
Say that one more time.
So you want to sing a little louder than the guitar that you're.
Oh, it's definitely going to be louder than you might not even hear the guitar.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So I'll try my best.
Yeah.
So which one are you saying?
This is called "The Falling Over You."
Okay.
I have found something new. Begins and ends with you. Now I'm hopelessly falling into and out through something completely true. In my mind I have found words with meaning without sound. In your eyes I see not only my life, but how I know I want to die. 'Cause I've fallen over you. Disconnected, black and blue. Falling into and out through, and I am baptized anew. Come on, come on. Many times during the day, I recollect past pain. But in those chains that once bound have all come undone somehow. In my hell you forgave all the sins I made. And now that you are around, Salvation I have finally found, 'cause I have fallen over you. Disconnected, black and blue, falling into and out through, and I am baptized anew, 'cause I'm falling over you, falling over you. I've fallen over you. I've fallen over you. And there's nothing left to but to say I love you. I wasn't expecting to sing, and I didn't rehearse or anything, so that's really not. I felt like it wasn't that great, but oh well.
No, it's always great. And you wrote this, right?
I'm sorry.
You wrote this yourself.
Yes, I wrote that. I wrote that song.
It was
Yeah.
wonderful. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Ron, it was a very nice job. I'm, I can't even poke a hole at it. I mean, if it were a 45, of course it would have a hole. But no, that was really good. That was really good. That was really fun, and I'm glad, Leanne, you asked Ron to
Yes, thank you, Leanne. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Leanne is a good advocate for her friends, no doubt.
She is. She is. She pushes friends to do things.
I'm glad you said the do things part. I was worried about being on a bridge with her.
That's great. Thank you, Leanne, and thank you.
Oh, apparently, well, it is 11:36. I think in her time zone, so she probably passed out just right there in the chair.
I'm the same time zone.
Yeah, but on Leanne's time, it's about 3 a.m.
That's right. It is.
I don't play go to music. I play just like singing bowls and do meditations, but I have fallen asleep while doing that towards the end.
Absolutely.
So I can definitely see that being a relaxing, putting somebody into a state to be able to fall asleep.
Well, we'll give Leanne. Let's see. We could check the back channel and see if she's texted us anything. Oh, it says, "Please call." Oh no, never mind. Well, I don't have any messages from her, but Deborah, that was so nice that you were able to join us.
Yes, thank you, Deborah.
Make sure, everybody, if you're watching this on replay or whatever, when did you say the actual pageant is?
The actual pageant is July 10th through 17th.
Can't hear you, Rev.
Where's it at?
In Ohio. And it's run by the Dane Foundation. So when you said working with developmental families, I thought of that as well. That's the sponsor.
That's awesome. Well, and that, as you talk to the folks, and you can obviously get a hold of me, but, be perfectly cool to have the folks that you're sponsoring come talk too.
Definitely. I will definitely share that with them, because I think it's a great opportunity to help, like you were mentioning, it's normalizing our experiences, that everybody has something to offer this world, right? And that's what I like to try to highlight. And so that's why I'm doing this, is I want to really bring that to the forefront, and I want people to know about what we're doing as well. So I think that's really important. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. The hold on a second here. The oh no, that's all right. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know, Ron. I keep getting these people that are offering me warranties on my car, but I don't have a car.
Me too. Me
Can I
too.
buy the warranty though?
Also, people that want me to sell my home, and I don't own a home,
Yes.
So,
well, Ron, that's it. I get it. We just moved into our home, and the next day we're getting calls. Do you want to sell your home? Or Which I'm like, I just moved, haven't finished moving in yet, but no, thank you. Or when I'm applying like for those databases, I specifically say I do not have a license. And do you know how many times I get offers to like apply or interviews for Amazon and these other companies as a delivery person? I don't have a license. I say I don't have a license. I fill out no license, and then I get
Deborah,
offered.
would you like to drive a bus? Right? I mean, wait a minute, folks. Would you want Deborah driving?
No, you really don't. Because anybody who's listened to me knows I have problems with. Okay, this is funny and not funny, but I have a problem with passing out because of one of my conditions, and my blood pressure will get really low. But I sometimes pass out in the middle of a conversation or in the
I
middle
mean,
of
if you're my
moderating.
Uber driver and it's in a Tesla, I might be okay with it. But yeah, you're definitely not doing any of the piloting any drones anytime soon that take passengers.
No, I'm not. Not for the safety of the world. I will refrain from doing so.
Right. Well, this has been a whole lot of fun. I did get a message from Leanne, and she's officially quit. No, I'm just kidding. She's I've not heard from her. I'm sure she's fine. She's probably busy taking all of these great ideas and incorporating them into the book, because that was a lot of fun. And
Absolutely.
we will be back. We don't know when. We will definitely be back when Fireside has kind of forgotten about us, and then they were able to crack the code and hack back in. So we will we will be back then. All right, Noble Ron and Leanne, the bubbly psychologist, Deborah, the wheelchair wonderment. I mean, like you just like, can't even see her, and God, she's probably firing a missile at me. Holy crap, I got to be careful. So I love that, and so nice to meet you. Please stay in touch, and we'll definitely even if we can't get everybody together, we could even just get some contestants together after or something. You know what I mean? We'll see what we can do, but I think that would be great.
Camera that I've attached to a monopod that's attached to a clamp to my wheelchair. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit convoluted, but I did so I could start recording things and create like my own little documentary of the experience, including trying to shop today, Memorial Day weekend, with a whole bunch of clothes piled on my body. But yes, I think that's a great idea. I've been getting a couple of the ladies together to interview on my podcast as well. I just think it's such a beautiful way of. Yes, I am. I do goof off all the time with my chair. My nickname in college was Scooter for a reason, including all the things that kind of broke, damaged, or piled onto my chair, and had like my crutches as, as if we were going through. Oh my gosh, I forgot the word when the javelin, when they go with the swords. We kind of had the crutches out coming off of the T line in Boston, Boston, and when we were in Boston. And we had just so much fun with it. So there are total types of joking, mechanically designed, really funky designs. That's all good and well. There's obviously a serious moment too, but I do have to say it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we didn't have kids in wheelchairs and electric wheelchairs because I'm so old. Mr. Tesla was still trying to work that stuff out. But I think if I were in high school today, we did sell elevator passes, and we didn't have an elevator. But if I were there today, I would definitely get a bunch of the kids with the electric wheelchairs, and we could sell fake public transit, rides to different parts of the high school or something like that if it were a really big one. So I think everybody should have fun and embrace everybody's differences, for lack of a better word. And if you see somebody in a wheelchair, and you could just talk to them, start a dialogue. So this has been really fun. All right. Well, the executive producer
have a great night, everyone.
is chiming in right now, and I'm fired, Ron. Okay, Ron, you go ahead and wrap this up. No, everybody, that was great. Leanne, Ron, Deborah, all the folks at Fireside. Love to everybody. We will see you back randomly, just depending on how the ions line up in the next ion storm, and we will say peace be with you.